going on, everybody? I'm so excited. Y'all, Milk Bar is here. Shout out to all of you all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you guys for rocking with me here. I know we just did a live earlier. And we just had to get it in with Paramount Tactical. Shout out to him. But we have Milk Bar, y'all. And I am so excited about having a conversation, being able to ask some questions about of course, the lawsuit victory that he was given, and preferably, hopefully, that Tate brother will find it very difficult to do a follow up. Throwing tantrums over lawsuits is, come on. But we're going to get the scoop, and whatever he can share with us, we're looking forward to that and just having a great discussion. So I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. I did not get the chance to go over to the second channel, Manny, but I will do so after this. But you all, listen, we got Milk Bar in the house, and he is here. So ask your questions. Asking all the mods to be hands on deck so that we can, ensure we have a fantastic conversation flowing. And I appreciate you guys so much. Hit the like button. And if I can get the mods to drop Milk Bar's YouTube channel link in the chat, that would be fantastic. Fantastic. Make sure you guys go check him out. He's also on Twitter X, so check him out there at MilkBarTV. As Nathan Livingston as well. So go show him some love and support and check out his great content. He has the best compilation videos. I love them. We always use them here in the Lady Luck Club. So without further ado, we're gonna bring up Milk Bar TV. Welcome him in. Oh, Milk Bar, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? Good to finally meet you.
I know. I'm so excited. You guys, listen. Milk Bar is here, and I want you to first just give us an intro on you, your content, what you primarily focus on, how long you've been at it. Give us just the scoop.
Yeah, so I was an independent filmmaker. I never really did anything on social media until COVID hit in Australia, and so we had a pretty the response was a lot, and it took me losing my job because of vaccine mandates. Where it was this strange situation where it was illegal for me to work, so I started making videos on social media, commenting on the COVID response, that's how I started on social media. I just used my skills as a filmmaker, as an editor, and then from there I started making videos on other subjects like Andrew Tate, and so it was this interesting thing where Andrew Tate was embraced by a lot of the people that I was floating in the same circles with at that time, who were kind of pushing back against the COVID response. And, the more I saw about the guy, the less I liked. And it was after...
I heard he's unpleasant.
It was after Tucker Carlson's interview with him where it appeared that he was lying about his criminal charges, his indictment, all sorts of stuff. Which Tucker Carlson just today, it just looks like he's finally acknowledging that he actually he got it wrong in that interview. Yeah, he just posted DMs with a New York Times reporter where she interviewed him, and on the record it appears that he's saying that he's acknowledging that he got that stuff wrong. Anyway, that's how I started making videos on Andrew Tate, and then from Andrew Tate, it was then Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and it's the same kind of network of influencers that all kind of appear to have each other's backs, and they're all people that I'm not sure. I don't necessarily. I question whether they believe what they're saying themselves.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I mean, I just I heard that in Paramount's video we were checking out earlier about Candace Owens being so delusional and he believing that she believes what she's saying, and it's I guess I want to kind of go back to her having some sort of interaction or being able to have some sort of relationship or rapport with Andrew Tate. What do you think would cause her to want to be someone like Andrew Tate, who, based on the court documents, is alleged to have been, basically a pimp and done horrific things to women, the views that he has on women. How could she possibly see that as, yeah, this is a wholesome person to have in my life?
It was very interesting from my point of view, because I made my first video on Andrew Tate, and it was this general exposing him, and it was framed around his interview with Tucker Carlson. So it was looking at how he was spinning the accusations against him versus the reality of what the indictment was actually saying, and then also what he said himself in the past, which appears to confirm everything that's in the indictment and contradicts, what he was saying at that time then and even now.
Right.
So I made that video. That video went very viral. It's even now sitting at just under 12 million impressions. And everyone covered it on the right. So you had all these commentators who saw this video, and I think at that time Andrew Tate had already been cancelled by the left. But like I said, he was embraced in certain circles, and people in the conservative movements were still like, they were still like, we like this guy. This guy is sending a good message. Maybe we disagree with some of it, but overall we like the message that he's sending. And we're just not sure about the criminal stuff. We don't know about this. It's happening in Romania. Who knows about that, And then it was with my video where, 90% of it was his own words, much like what I do with Candace now. I kind of just use people's own words against them.
Yep.
And just expose how
this is the best way to go.
Yeah, they're just hypocrites who contradict themselves and can't keep their story straight. And anyway, so he was seemingly denounced overnight by the mainstream conservative movement in America because of the video that I made. But Candace Owens was she was the only exception at Daily Wire, where she, in response to my video, it seemed like she immediately booked a flight to Romania to interview Andrew Tate, to seemingly run cover for him. And at this point in time, I still liked Candace Owens from what I saw of her. This is like 2023. Like my wife was into her. Like we had a book,
Right.
I wasn't like a big fan of her. I didn't know anything about her past with the doxing side or anything.
Me either. Me either. That makes two of us.
Yeah, it was with that interview where it was just like, she did the same thing. I mean, does this sound familiar? She would play Andrew Tate's video that he made, and it was a video that I used in my compilation video, where it was him talking about how to recruit women, seemingly talking about how to recruit women or girls into webcamming, and how you don't tell them that that's what you're doing. You don't tell them anything about webcamming until after you sleep with them. You sleep with them, and this whole process about how to then, I'd say it's grooming women into webcamming. And I'd say it's what he was charged with, the lover boy method, where you get a woman to fall in love with you, and you secretly have the intention the whole time to actually get them to then do, pornography for you, and then you keep the profits. What she would do was she played a tiny little segment from that video and said, "Can you explain this?" And then Andrew Tate would say, "Oh, this was like a dating course that I did, and this was about me, how hard it is when I run a webcam studio to maintain."
You're kidding me.
So she'd play that. So I made the video where I'm like, okay, this is what Candace didn't show her audience.
Right.
Where it's straight up just, very clearly not how he was framing it. Even the clip that she chose to use, which was the best of it, was still obviously not what he was saying. Oh my
God.
It was.
Never mind the court documents. Never mind what was already.
So this is anyone who's watching her now recognizes. I mean, this is exactly what she did with the Tyler Robinson vehicle body cam.
Yes. It just cuts it and it just shows what he wants. Yeah. Yeah.
He's just like, let's just cut out the part that doesn't work for me. And I just know my audience is dumb enough that they're not going to bother to look into this.
And they're not.
themselves.
This God.
Anyway, so the whole video, there was a lot in there. There was a lot in there that was like, this is Candace clearly is pushing the same line that Tate is. And then it was like immediately after it became apparent, oh, her husband, George Farmer, is good friends with Andrew Tate.
There lies the reason why she feels
the interview. Yeah, she starts the interview saying that. She's like, oh, we've met before, but she doesn't fully disclose just how close her husband is to Andrew Tate.
Wow.
And he's been open. George Farmer's been open. He said, I've known Andrew Tate for a long time, before he was Andrew Tate. So there's still questions about what was George Farmer, someone who comes from the high up in England, his dad's in the House of Lords. He went to Oxford University. What's he doing floating around with a self-confessed pimp? Who spoke about, he was like a drug dealer, So what was he doing with this guy back then? Anyway, so this is where, I just started going down the rabbit hole where I'm just like, there seems to be this sphere of influencers who are all the same people who very openly spoke out against mainstream media, saying the issues with mainstream media is that they lie to you. They're too close to the stories that they cover. They're too close to the subjects. They have these inherent biases that they don't actually fully disclose. All of these things that I've now seen is there, and even worse in alternative media.
Exactly. The things that she wants to deter people away from is what she now has going against her. It's the biggest hypocrisy ever. And I don't even, and I'm going to be honest, I don't even recognize or see Candace as a journalist of any sort. So to say you go to her for news or to get information that, the public, at some point needs to know, even, it's laughable. And the idea that, you can have friends and have friends that are, in your life for years, and then they change and they become something different. Does it mean that you're forced to still, or obligated to still support them, or to consider them as a friend, knowing that what they're doing and what they're saying is hurtful, is damaging? George Farmer had to know that the road that Andrew Tate is taking here is a horrible, dangerous path. I mean, it's leading to litigation matters. It's leading to lawsuits. It's leading to criminal charges. Not once did he ever say, I don't agree with this stuff that Andrew Tate is doing, and as his friend, I'm going to tell him the truth. Not one time did Candace say any of this to him. Like, neither one of them are trying to at least be honest and straightforward and say, the things you're doing, I would never allow my daughter to be around you. Like, would Candace allow her daughter to be around him? More than likely, no. But they want to call him a friend, and they can't tell him what he's doing is wrong, legally wrong, morally wrong, spiritually wrong, in so many ways. What do you think does he have something on them? And why they choose to not really just be forthcoming?
Well, I mean, it's really interesting. Candace, even when Andrew Tate was first arrested, so I think this was January 2023. So he'd been arrested, and then he was indicted June. And in that episode, she talks about when she first met Andrew Tate. And so she first met Andrew Tate. I think this was, I want to say it was December 2018, I think it was. And so she met Andrew Tate in London, and her and George Farmer got engaged after 2 weeks being together, over like Skype. So within those 2 weeks, they went to an event in London, and that's where Candace Owens was introduced to Andrew Tate. So she was introduced to him as like, this is a friend of George Farmer. And it's interesting how she talks about that, because she says that she had a Romanian assistant at that point in time. And so she talks about how she had her Romanian assistant with her at this event. And Candace spent most of the night with George Farmer, but she says that her Romanian assistant went and spoke with Andrew Tate, and her Romanian assistant then immediately came to Candace afterwards and said, "That guy's a pimp in Romania."
Wow. And she ignored it?
And so Candace already knew that. Candace already so she already knew this. And so it's strange how she tells the story, because she tells the story after he's now being arrested in Romania.
This is something else.
Yeah, she tries to frame it. So she's still trying to frame it like, oh, he was attacked by the Matrix. So she tries to frame it like, oh, I knew that he was a pimp from even back then, but
yeah, because of the Matrix.
You'll have to. I did a thread a while back on the Candace Owens, George Farmer, like Andrew Tate connection, and all the examples of how she's lied for him. So go to my Twitter at MilkBarTV.
Is that on your YouTube? Is it on your YouTube?
It's not on my YouTube because it's a thread, so it's a bunch of little small kind of things. But I think I have. You will be able to, if you go back a while, I think you'll be able to see some of that Candace, Andrew Tate stuff. But yeah, anyway, to get to your question of like why is she doing this?
Yeah, why?
I think she's morally bankrupt. I think anyone who's watching what she's doing with the Charlie Kirk stuff after he died can look at this and say, this is not a person with morality. This is not a person who's driven by what's right. She did a lot of there was a lot of that stuff with Andrew Tate defending him. She did an episode that was dedicated entirely to attacking one of his alleged victims. And I've spoken about this a lot because it really does, for me, it's the worst thing I've ever seen her do up to the Charlie Kirk investigation. And in this episode where she's attacking one of the alleged victims, all she does is read off the Andrew Tate's lawsuit. So they're suing this alleged victim for defamation because she testified in Romania against him. And so Candace Owens, her entire evidence against this alleged victim is just the Tate's lawsuit. And you look at legal documents, so you're familiar with them. A lawsuit against someone is not facts. It's just someone's story, Yeah,
and then when it gets
to trial, then it's about whether this story actually holds up and is true or not.
Right.
But you can drop all sorts of stuff in a lawsuit.
I mean, even just starting from the background story of it, the idea that you're making this allegation, you still have to submit what's called a sworn affidavit, where you're telling the court, we're filing this complaint and the statements that we're making, we're testifying that is true and accurate to the best of our, knowledge, basically, with the sworn affidavit to accompany that. But it's still not like it's not considered a verdict. It's not considered, just verified stamped evidence until you have that, hearing or trial where you introduce the exhibits and, through testimony. Testimony is evidence, but the allegations in the complaint is not necessarily considered testimony. You have to have that testimony given under oath, and then, you want to have evidence to support it. And that's it. So just because you file a lawsuit doesn't mean that everything, like you said, is just stamped in stone. These are facts, because then the opposing party gets to come in and say, well, here's my response. That's where you get to file a response or reply, or, like Candace said, with a motion to dismiss, so you get to file that. And then you put your sworn affidavit with that saying, these statements I'm making is to the best of my knowledge, and that's it. And you have to have, that those hearings, that due process occur where you can now introduce your exhibits and introduce it into the case as evidence. That's how that should go. So if she just read a complaint, that's like me saying that, me reading the lawsuit from the Macrones and just saying, these are the facts and that's it. They have exhibits. You have to prove that someone is born a man or a woman with scientific, evidence, something they're going to bring. But there's still that opportunity for her to come with her defense. Now, her defense came in a motion to dismiss. But to say that this lawsuit is what I'm going to use to prove that you defamed me, what, what do you mean? How is that defamatory? It's insane. And this is coming from someone that doesn't know the law.
She even starts the episode. Yeah, she starts it by saying, this is coming from the Tate's lawsuit, so you can choose to accept that or not. So she even starts it with this idea of everything I'm about to say in this episode comes from the Tates, so it's up to you whether you want to believe them or not. And then she proceeds to use all, to entirely base all of the evidence in this episode attacking the alleged victim from their lawsuit. I did a video with another account called Crayon Murders, who was also sued as part of the Tate's lawsuit against us. Okay. So you can find that on my YouTube. So we do really dig into this Candace Owens episode. I won't link it because this is a thing, right? She used the alleged victim's real name in it. So she named this alleged victim, and she goes through, because it's in the lawsuit, a bunch of stuff that's really, really sexual and really, really private. And the majority of it happened. The majority of it happened when she was a minor, because this alleged victim, there was 5 grown men that had sexual relationships with this alleged victim when she was a minor. And what the Tate's narrative is that this girl has a pattern of making false allegations against men, and the Tates are the latest in this string of this girl doing this. Except this is the this is a really fascinating thing. Like, bear with me, because this is the thing that I think is, like I said, it's the worst thing I've ever seen Candace do. One of those grown men that was with this alleged victim when she was a minor, his name is Keith Fox, and he was arrested. And he was charged with having sexual relationships with her as a minor. And it was also found that he had sexual relationships with another minor. That went to trial, and he was convicted. So he's a convicted child molester who's serving a long prison sentence. I think it's 16 years or maybe even more. That went to appeal. He lost that appeal. He's a convicted child molester. And
goodness gracious.
So now this is an issue, right? Because the whole narrative is that this alleged victim makes false allegations, but this is not true, because it went to trial, and there was another victim as well, and he was found guilty. So now what does Candace do? Because this destroys her narrative, she beeps Keith Fox's name. So she hides the name Keith Fox, the convicted child molester, because she doesn't want people to look up the story, because she realizes if people look it up, then the whole narrative falls apart.
You can't make this up.
She beeps the convicted child molester's name to protect his identity, to protect her narrative. Yet the entire episode, she names the minor that he molested over 100 times and goes into the most private details, including sexual stuff when she was a minor. I mean, this was when I realized that Candace Owens is a monster.
Yes, Candace, you have a daughter. You cannot say, Candace, you would be okay with this happening to your daughter as a minor. And that's the crazy part. She probably would never let her daughter around someone like these people that she's sitting here trying. Why defend them? She's not obligated to do it. So why go out of your way to even try to offer a modicum of defense for this, when one of them have been found guilty by a jury in the court of law? This is a criminal matter, so that's a jury trial. Why would you do that? There's no logic to that. I would literally just say, you know what? I don't have to have any dealings or ties with this person. They've been convicted. A jury's found them guilty. That's it. And I don't owe them any defense. I owe them nothing. I don't have to make any cover story for them. Why do it? And then blur out, you're talking about doxing a minor. See, this is the thing. even if it's in the court documents, there's still, as a journalist, you know, there's some level of, I want to say, tact that we should have. You know, some wisdom we use in our reporting and putting out information. We're disseminating information. Even if you see this in court documents, why would you want this minor, the victim, to relive this just for the sake of trying to give someone a defense? This is a pattern she's had with the doxing, releasing information that's not necessary, disseminating information without consent, Charlie Kirk's medical information from the ER. You don't have consent to do that. You don't have the consent to disseminate that information. And yet she still operates like this. I mean, aside from her wanting to get views and clicks, apparently, because I don't see a logical reasoning, you know, in your reporting of her. I mean, what is, I want to say, what's the driving force in this other than views and money? What really is going on? Does she actually believe that this is somehow integrity, or, you know, some integral part of journalism? What is going in her mind, going through her head when she's doing this?
Well, it's definitely not the money. They have plenty of money, you know, even through a.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah. So it's definitely the money is just a bonus, but you know, I think her currency is relevancy. I think that's what it is. You know,
wow.
And so that's where it's like hats off to her. Somehow she's managed to spin the Charlie Kirk assassination into everyone just talking about her. It doesn't matter whether she's telling the truth or not. That's not what's important. You know, she's got what she wants, and she's the number one podcast in the world. She's always, you know, she's always wanted that. That's the interesting thing when you look back on her trajectory. You know, I mean, she was an intern at Vogue. She started a blog, Degree 180, where she was blogging about about how affairs are romantic and making fun of stay-at-home moms and talking about how small Trump's penis is. You know,
she was up. Then she voted for her.
Yeah, how to get Adderall without a prescription, all this kind of stuff. You know, when we're talking like a decade ago, we're talking about her in her like mid-20s. You know, it's not that long ago, really. And you know, she tried to start this doxing site to combat hate speech online.
Yeah, the social autopsy.
Yeah, she got in trouble for that. You know, you can look up her giving a TED talk in like 2015 where she's talking about activism, and she's a full-on lefty at this point in time. And she's getting no traction. It's so funny. She goes on Bill Maher, even just recently, Russell Brand. She talks about this idea of like, imagine how big I would be if I was on the left. You know, imagine how big I would be if I was towing the line and, you know, saying what the status quo is. And it's like, you tried that. You tried that experiment, and and it didn't work, you know. And I think, I think in large part, talking with a lot of people, I think it's just because the left have a lot of like outspoken black women.
Right.
That's no shortage of that.
I was going to ask because I want to be, you know, just for, because the Lucksters know I'm apolitical. I'm not left or right leaning, you know, and I think that's the beauty of, you know, in journalism. From my view, I get to do it impartial, and, you know, I speak, you know, more from, you know, the legal perspective and legal angles on a lot of things. So, you know, going over a lawsuit, I have to go over the lawsuit that was filed against you from Andrew Tate, because I've been trying to get my hands on it. But that's kind of the reason why I go through that angle. But even just, you know, Candace she's just, one thing she seems to be very much so is extremist. She goes from one extreme to another. I don't think she would be able to come down the middle, because that would mean that you would have to have some level of balance with this. And I just don't foresee her being the type of person that can balance out the reporting and just do it from an impartial stance, because if she can't do it from a factual stance, she has to do it from this narrative that she's painting, which invokes more of being you know, partial. You're giving more of how you feel, your opinion, your thoughts, your theories. But if you remain factual, or if the majority of your reporting is based on facts and evidence, you can keep that impartial stance. And so I just I don't I don't see her being successful, if she were more liberal or Democrat leaning. And the only reason why she seemed to have catapulted as a conservative or Republican leaning is because the other black women, there are black women who are also Republican, who are also conservatives, but they're just not as loud as she is about it.
Well, that's the
If,
thing,
if
right?
I have to put it like that, they're not just as loud. So, you
Yeah,
know,
that is the
y-
thing. I've spoken to other, yeah, like I did a podcast with Tree of Logic. I think you covered that.
yeah,
Um,
did. I
yeah,
enjoyed that interview.
and in that Tree of Logic, it was like, she's like, I was on the Trump train before he was elected. There was a bunch
Hmm.
of us like African Americans,
Hmm.
and Candace only jumped ship after it was safe to do so.
Right.
And then Candace just stole all the talking points that were already out there. She offered
Yep.
nothing original. There was nothing new
Right.
that she was actually saying. It was just
Right.
how she packaged it in the
Yeah.
way that she does.
Right.
And I think we've seen that ever since, whether it is with like the Brigitte Macron or even now with her like tip line. It's like
Hmm.
nothing that she ever does is her own work.
Right.
She never breaks
Yeah.
story. She's
No.
never out there pounding the
Right.
pavement. Everything is fed to her, and then she spins it and injects herself into it,
Yep.
and she spices it up with a lot of
Yep.
drama and all this kind of stuff. Like that's what she is. I think that's where I still, if you go back and look at her blog Degree 180, you can find that, and I
Hmm.
think a lot of that it's the same DNA. Where
Hmm.
it shows the thing that she's interested in. She's interested in celebrity gossip. You
Yep.
know, she's
That's all she
interested in
should. She should just be that. Just be a
It is.
celebrity
She's interested
gossiper.
in like in stirring drama, like
Right.
that's the kind of stuff she likes that stuff. So
Hmm.
I think she tried to become a legitimate thought leader and commentator on the right. And you saw that she got all these offers. She went on Infowars when she first came out as a conservative, and
Yeah.
Alex Jones was like begging her to take a show on
Hmm.
Infowars.
Hmm.
And clearly she was like, I've got the world at my feet. Everyone's coming to me with offers. So she went with PragerU. She went with Daily Wire.
Hmm.
She tried to be respectable. But I think that's where it's like you said, Candace Owens is not a journalist.
She's not a journalist.
She's not a journalist. And
Candace, you're not a journalist, girl.
I think the key with Candace Owens is that, it's like with her being on the left and why she
Hmm.
failed. It's you don't want to be a small or medium fish in a big pond.
Hmm.
You want
Yeah.
to be a big fish in a small pond. You actually get
Yeah.
rewarded from that because you get a really real loyal fan base.
Yeah.
So I think that we've seen that with her where she's chasing like the Jew hatred stuff, and
Yes.
now
It's
she's
just
really going down
unfortunate
this
that.
conspiracy type stuff.
Yeah.
I think her audience is gonna shrink. I think she's gonna eventually implode, and we're seeing that. But
Yeah.
she's cultivated this really real loyal fan base, that I think she realizes that's where it's at in today's day and age.
Yeah. And the worst part is that, you know, you can't really distinguish who's real and not real um in her base. And then it's becoming dangerous. You have people that are getting death threats. You have people that are being still doxxed. And for some reason, Candace's attorneys refuse to tell her that doxing is a cybercrime. It is illegal, Candace, to dox people. But you know, they're going out and they're now, turning this into, um these are becoming real life threats. You know, immediately if you say something negative, you get all these, I call them candy asses or bots that come into your chat, copying and pasting the same thing. And it's funny what they say because what they're doing is more so affirming the fact that she's doing this for likes, views, clicks, and money by saying, "Oh, she's number one," which she's not number one. She was number one in a category for having the most viewed and most downloaded videos because we fact checked that in real time twice. So she's not like number one podcaster. That means she would have to be number one in a myriad of categories. And she's not. She's not even top three. But this is this narrative she pumps out. And when you don't have in this same loyal base, anyone fact checking you, you don't have people around you telling the truth. They're just telling you what you want to hear. She's only reading comments that embellish her, that feed into her pride and her ego. That's where it becomes very dangerous. So now, and even in my coverage of her and the lawsuit with the Macrons, I see it's this inflated personality, this ego, this level of narcissism, and this cult of personality. You know, Tell me what you think about that. Do you think that it's becoming more cultish than anything else now? Is it people thinking for themselves, or do you feel like they're just dangerously, heavily swayed by the things that she says and does now? Because it's just it's more of, you don't see people that say I support her, but I don't agree with her with this and that. It's more of, oh, she's the queen. It's like treating her like Lord and Savior. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing. Like I said, I started making videos because of COVID and the COVID response. And it's very interesting for me because I now look back, and I'm more certain than ever that I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, me either. Not at all.
And so that's the thing. It's like it's realizing that a lot of people have really, I think you can actually look at COVID as as one of the big reasons why she's got a large fan base, because I think she's exploited that. I think people are much more skeptical and cynical of government and mainstream media because of COVID. I think that already existed, but I think it was absolutely exasperated. So I think she jumps on things like that. She uses things like Epstein, and I think
that was wild.
look, it's the same like QAnon stuff.
Yeah.
It's always kind of been around, and it's just about kind of packaging it all up. And yeah, I think it's really, really dangerous, because it's just not good when people completely just turn off any logic or reasoning and just listen to someone. And also, I mean, this is where people are getting their news now as well. People aren't watching the news, and she's pretty much programming people to distrust everything else but her, and to only get the information from her. I mean, that's very cult-like, and it was just a few days ago that she's saying, I've been having all these dreams and I have this sense of dread, and that the Malibu fires and the Texas floods, and that the Fed, all of it is connected, and that there's a war coming, and that you all need to prepare, and that this is what happens every time there's a world war. They, reset everything because people are waking up. This is like, this is like doomsday cult type stuff.
Yep. That's
and
what it sounds like.
I think a lot of people can listen to that, and I think there's a sense of like wrestling with this, where it's like wrestling where people listen to it and they're like, this is entertaining. I don't know how much I genuinely believe it. But there are those people who will do crazy stuff when they hear this. We're already starting to see that. There was already someone that was arrested for death threats against the very people that Candace Owens was insinuating were part of the Charlie Kirk assassination attempt. It's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad in America when Tim Pool's getting shot up.
Exactly. His house, like his, this man has to go outside of his comfort zone where he lives, and now has to walk around and watch his back while she alleges that an entire country is trying to take her out with no evidence. I mean, she won't even post the FBI text message that I've personally dared her to do along with filing a formal FBI complaint on this allegation. Candace, post the FBI text message you sent to this high-ranking official. Like, these are the things that, evidence-wise, just post it up. If you are saying that these events occurred, someone called you and said that payments and transactions are coming through this club, the Sant, then wouldn't you post up the evidence of that paper trail? You're not getting off the phone with me until you send me evidence on this. If you're going to call me and tell me this evidence exists, because that's how good journalism works. Okay, before I mention this, you're going to have to send me an email of these so-called transactions from this club. But she didn't even do her homework in being specific about which club the Sant she's talking about. There's one that deals with gastronomy. There's one that deals with cycling. So no, specific information on that. Who knows who this high-ranking French government employee is? Where are these transactions that you claim there must be a paper trail? Okay, so why didn't you get the paper trail? These are the things that it's like simple things. Post up the evidence on that. You're posting up stuff about that you're typing up in your pre-recorded scripted shows, but you won't post up an FBI text message. You won't say, here are some, transactions that I received in an email where someone who works with the French government sent over to me to show proof. Payments are coming from the president of France to this club for the purposes of an assassination attempt. Nothing to the extent. So when it's that easy to just paint these narratives and your audience, your supporters don't even demand the evidence, it's easy to see how these people can be easily swayed, very cult-like into, now if you don't believe what she says, now you're the enemy. Now they're attacking me. Now you're becoming this target. And this is what opens the floodgates up for people to get doxxed, cyber harassed, cyber bullied, threatened. And she doesn't own up to any of this. To say in a post, hey, Tim Pool, if you need help basically with trying to figure out who did this, let me know. And then turn around and say, well, he's whining and crying all over social media about it. This man had his house shot up. And that's something he can prove. You can't even prove one transaction or an FBI text message about an assassination attempt on you. What do you mean? He's crying. He's not crying over the internet. This man had his house shot up. All because he said something you didn't like. It's so dangerous. When is she going to take accountability for this? When is she going to say, hey, if you are a supporter of mine, do not go to people's videos in their chats trying to defend me and then make threats? Because I got one yesterday. It's some dude just it came out of nowhere. It was like, there's a price that you're gonna have to pay either way. And I'm sitting here like, what price am I gonna pay? It's about morality. No, I need you to be specific. Speak plain. I literally had to, in my live stream, call that it could have been a bot. It could have, who knows. But the fact that they do it so freely. They just say these things, either way, you're going to pay a price. What price? I want you to be specific. This is what you're having to deal with. And I don't even know if I hit 30,000 supporters yet. This is what everyone is faced with. And she will never, ever own up to that. She will never say that the things that I'm saying, if someone disagrees with me, they have the right to disagree with me. She will never say that. It's either you believe me or you're my enemy and you're attacking me.
Yeah. And we saw that with the pastor, is it Mike McCoy when he came out and said, like, it's enough of this. Like, Charlie wouldn't be doing this if you died. Like early stages. Yeah. I mean, like, she responded with like, you need to shut up. Like, either you're helping my investigation or you need to just shut up and get out of the way. She's good like that. That's part of it, where she frames things in this way of, I'm the only person who's investigating the truth. The whole world is up against me. And if you're not with me, then you're against looking for the truth. And then that means that, you're on the side of the government and the feds. And that means that you're, a complete like loser who swallows everything that the government and the feds have ever done. And, it's the same with Macrons. If you point out,
believe them, oh Lord.
if you point out the things that she's saying are just completely ludicrous and have no evidence to it, then it's like, oh, you're defending Macrons. Well, you support the Macrons. You support a grown woman grooming a 14-year-old boy. Like, what's wrong with you?
It's like no one supports that, but she doesn't ever take the time to say, I understand that those are two specific, distinct allegations here. Alleging someone is born a man does not directly link them to grooming 14-year-old boys. Like, she never takes the time to distinguish that, and that's the danger in that.
Well, and that's where
it out there to the imagination.
Yeah, you talk about with politics that you don't let politics come into your work, and and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, and that's for me. It's I'm team reality with this stuff.
Right.
When it comes to like Candace and the crazy stuff she's saying and doing in this campaign of just harassment and her absolutely exploiting the death of her supposed friend, and even the Macron stuff. It's like, I'm on team reality. If you can look at this and very clearly see she's providing zero evidence, there is no basis for this whatsoever. And you're able to look at that and very obviously see that, then, I don't do teams, but we're on the same team at that point. That's something we can very much agree on.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the only way I'm going to, as far as, my research and reporting, because I do consider myself to be an independent journalist. And it's the only way I'm going to go about doing it. I have to have evidence, even when it comes to, her so-called tip line. We all know Candace does not vet her tips because she doesn't know how. Something as simple as, let me go out to UVU, do a live show out there, maybe interview some people, sort of the same things that Paramount Tactical did. We just got through checking out his video. She could do the same thing. She just doesn't. But you can take the time to go to Dollywood. You can't. It's this detachment from reality when it comes to her YouTube channel. But personally, I believe Candace knows exactly what she's doing. She just knows when to put on this front. She knows when I get in front of the camera, here's this personality of me, one of these personalities her husband talked about, she has many of. Here's me here in front of the cameras. Behind the cameras, whatever. I did a show today. It can be just that straightforward. And with her not even trying to put forth evidence to support this stuff, to me, it's like, if she was trying, I would believe that she was being delusional. She's not even attempting to do it. And she has no one in her inner circle telling her, you need to be putting forth evidence if you're going to insinuate the entire U.S. military is a part of a cover-up for an assassination. She won't do it. But she knows she needs the evidence, like with the Macrons. She wants the blood of the first lady. She said it in a show. And they tried to lie and say, I didn't say that. I took a print screenshot. I actually reacted to the part where she said it. And said, here, Candace Owens said, I'll send my doctors out, get a little blood, take care of this real quick, because she knows she needs that DNA. The best part about this, they're going to be bringing scientific evidence with them to court. That's where her story is going to fall apart. But she knows she needs scientific evidence to prove whether or not Brigitte Macron was born a man or woman. She just can't get it because that's not her blood to give up. She knows what she's saying. She knows what she's doing. And when she pre-scripts these shows that she pre-records and premieres, she's putting on this show. But she doesn't care about the danger that comes behind it or the consequences or the fact that her folks are going in all these chats and making threats to people. It's not delusion for her. This is what she just manifests into others' reality. While she knows, for me, this is just a show.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% correct. I think that's where people are like, oh, she's got, schizophrenia. It's postpartum. this and that. She's lost her mind. She's always been like this. This is how she's always been. She's done very well at manipulating people, and I think hiding the crazy for a while when she was at Daily Wire. But it's always been there, and I think that's where she's driven by attention. So it's about how she can get it. That's what drives her, and I think she will believe whatever she needs to believe to get that attention. You know, it's like when if you've ever known compulsive liars. Compulsive liars aren't like sitting around thinking like, oh, how can I lie? What's my lie? You know, and they're aware of reality. They just do it instinctively. Like they just do it. It's just a knee-jerk reaction to lie. And, you know, they need to believe what they're saying. That's partly why when you challenge them, they kind of lose their minds. And you see that with Candace because they believe what they're saying. So when you challenge it, they feel their status quo that they've established being challenged. And I think that's where it's important to look at Candace and to be like, I mean, she's aware that she's deceiving her audience. You know, she like the best example is the vehicle body cam footage with Tyler Robinson. You know, that footage is like 6 minutes long. And she claims that Tyler Robinson refers to his car as car based on that video, and that he doesn't use the word vehicle. Yet in that video, he says vehicle, and she just doesn't include it. So now you could say, oh, that was a mistake. You know, for whatever reason, they missed that. Which for one thing just points to how incompetent she is.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like,
immediately, that's just like, you are completely incompetent. But two, if that's true, people have pointed that out. I pointed that out. I made a video that went very viral. That's been out there. She has not corrected the record, as far as I'm aware.
Exactly.
She hasn't come out and said, guys, sorry, we got that wrong. He said vehicle, but you know, I can justify that by this reason, blah, 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 you know. But like our mistake, he actually said that in the video. We missed it, you know, so we're pointing that out. She doesn't do that. She doesn't do that because, like you said, she's not a journalist. She's not interested in the truth. She is all about manipulating her audience. Now, the question of like, what does her home life look like when she's not recording a show? Like her and George Farmer, you know, are they counting their money and laughing about how dumb their audience are, or are they playing pretend with this? You know, are they also kind of playing into this character that they need to, you know? Yeah, but I'm with you.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, because he admitted, you know, and I asked when she did, and I covered the an interview, very boring interview, by the way. It's like these two have no chemistry. But she did an interview with him, and he said, you know, I feel like I'm married to multiple women, you know, and made the comment about, you know, it's like she has multiple personalities and he just doesn't know which one he's going to get day by day. That's not, you know, you can joke about that, but in a sense, you know, she's shown that about herself. She's shown, you know, if she gets hit with a lawsuit, she's going to sit here and just flip the switch on camera, you know, or I can tell when she's off script. I can tell when she's trying to wing it. And because she's lying, you know, she doesn't really have the words to say, or the story is not complete in her mind, or the thought is not, you know, finalized. So she just kind of starts stuttering.
It's never good, is it? Like when she's it's never good.
Yeah. And I'm like, I see Candace getting off script again. It's so easy to detect that. And it's like, well, this is what happens when you know, research and you're learning about, you know, these cult of personalities, these narcissistic, you know, personalities, these individuals that feed into their pride and ego, you know, these compulsive liars, pathological liars, you know, you start to see this pattern with them. And to me, Candace is no different than a Jim Jones. I mean, at this point, she might as well just start the church of Candace Owens and be done with it and just finalize it all. That's where it's getting to a point where, you know, even with Erica Kirk believes the FBI investigation. So what does Candace Owens think about that? Erica Kirk believes the FBI. She trusts that the evidence they've gathered and the cases they put together is good. So what does Candace Owens think about Erica Kirk believing the FBI? That would be one of my questions. And what do you think about that?
I think it's when you have TP USA coming out and saying that we're going to do an episode where we take on all
Yeah.
of your insane claims, and you're
Yeah.
invited to come in person if you'd like to. But we're going to break this down. And on top of that, also, your claims have been so unhinged and so dangerous
Right.
that we actually think that you and your fans are worse than Antifa. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, This is
Oh wow.
TP USA saying this. This is, Blake, what's his face?
Yeah.
On the Charlie Kirk show,
Oh my
and
God.
this is where, she said, "Oh, it'll take Erica Kirk to tell me to stop." It's like Erica Kirk is the CEO of TP USA.
You
Yeah.
think Candace would shut up if Erica Kirk told her to shut up?
No, of course not. No, definitely not.
It's like no one believes that. Girl.
This is the thing. I've spoken about this a little bit here and there, and it's like, look, I really feel for TP USA.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
to think that Charlie Kirk is assassinated, your CEO and your friend and colleague, and
Right.
and then you've got this person who was part of TP USA that helped build
Yeah.
it, who's just an insane lady, who's then claiming that
Saying
you're
all this
part of
stuff.
saying all this stuff and going hard against your own people. And
Right.
I mean, what a absolute just nightmare of a position to be put into.
Right.
I can't think of, this is where it's like, I can't think of anything that's equivalent that anyone's done in mainstream
Right.
media
Right.
that you can really
It's
draw a comparison to.
and it would never fly in mainstream media. I mean, it's so the absurdity of it, that person would have been fired, and that's I can't, fathom how she still has any person with a channel probably would, if I was to say half the things that she said, my channel would have been shut down. My videos would have been struck. Like that I would have been experiencing real time consequences, and I would not be able to continue to pump this stuff out. And the extremism of her thinking, oh, they owe me, a virtual link. No, it's not your company, Candace. You're not the CEO. And if Charlie Kirk wanted you to be, wouldn't he put that in the living will? Wouldn't he have had that in writing? If anything happens to me, I want this company to go to Candace Owens. He didn't do that. So he has a wife. He has 2 kids, and she's not even thinking about those kids. She's not thinking about one day these kids are going to grow up and probably watch these videos, probably read these articles, and she has 4 kids. I mean, how detached do you have to be to not even consider the effect that this the stuff that she's saying could have, not just on Erica Kirk, but on the children as well? I mean, how delusional do you think she has to be at this point, where it's like, I don't even care if the kids find out about this?
Yeah, and you're just making it up.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean,
most likely.
yeah,
This is where it's like, she's. Yeah, I think of those examples where it's obvious that she's lying. Yeah. That's the other thing, is that she's used Charlie Kirk's death to go after people.
Yeah,
People who she has an agenda against. So you have someone like Josh Hammer, who was, seems to be very close to Charlie Kirk, who was advising him on the debate around Israel. And he was someone who was quite vocal, pushing back against Candace Owens, who immediately started, saying everyone needs to give me their phones and I get to go through all your private text messages, and air them. And what happened to this Hampton meeting here, and what's going on here, and this is to do with Israel and blah blah.
The message with the where he said he was going to get killed the next day.
Well, that's the thing with that, right? So he posted about public executions the night before Charlie Kirk died, and anyone can look and see that that was because of the Ukrainian woman who was killed on that bus. And that was going viral at the time. Plenty of people were calling for public executions, and they were saying how horrific that was. And Candace Owens spins that to say that Josh Hammer had a meeting with Charlie Kirk. She seems to insinuate that meeting went bad, and then he then posted public executions. as a way to, for whatever reason, to publicly put it out there that Charlie Kirk was going to be executed the next day. So he had knowledge about that.
And it's
And
just so
like,
sad.
what a horrible thing to say. But also,
Right.
again, it just points to like you're completely incompetent as an investigator. You know, because she
Right.
says like he's like, I have this, it's completely random. He just posts public execution. There's no reason to do that. I can see no one else that's posting anything else like
Yep.
that. And he's like never posted like that before. This is the first time he's done it. It's very unusual behavior. Like everything that she was saying was factually wrong. You know, Josh
Exactly.
Hammer is a proponent for public executions. You know, he wants that. That's not my thing. I don't like that. But he has spoken about that in the past and posted about that. You know, like I said, that Ukrainian woman, that news story was in the story. You know,
Right.
so he was posting it in response to it, and he'd actually retweeted two articles, two posts to do with that woman being killed, like right before it, and she just ignores that. She doesn't include that because it doesn't fit her agenda. This is not an honest person. You know, this is not an honest person who believes what she's saying. This is a person who's manipulating her audience because there's an enemy that she's going after. So she's cherry picking things and just, you know, lying and just full throttle attacking them, you know, and this is what she does. Allie Beth Stuckey said that. Like everyone knows if you get into Candace's crosshairs, she'll come at you, she'll do reputational damage. And that's why people are afraid to speak out against her.
And the worst part is that, you know, you can see how her behavior and her view is when it comes to, you know, litigation matters. I actually have gone over the lawsuit she filed against USA Today, the lawsuit she filed against the apartment complex, you know, where she alleged that she had to live with mold for 6-7 months and had recurring yeast infections. I posted the lawsuit that she filed against Kimberly Klasick and went over that, you know, then of course the Macron lawsuit. And it's like the same throughout, you know, she doesn't want to go through these litigation matters. You know, she doesn't want to have, you know, discovery or get to the point where, you know, exhibits and evidence is produced, because she knows at this point she's going to have to produce evidence on her end. She can't go to court just on allegations. She can't just go to court on because I said so. It doesn't work in court that way. YouTube is not court. And I say this all the time in the Lady Luck Club. YouTube is not court. In court, it's not like going on your YouTube channel with a pre-scripted show, your husband standing behind the camera ready to film. That's not how it works in court. So what you see is this pattern of behavior, you know, and this foundation of her character being built where she's either filing a lawsuit and like with USA Today, and because she couldn't meet her burden of, you know, the malice intent, it was dismissed because of that failure to state a claim, or someone sues her and she files a motion to dismiss while she goes on Tucker Carlson's show and says, I don't want this case dismissed. I want to get to the discovery phase. I want subpoena power, and still don't know what that means either because she won't research subpoena power. But she goes through all of that to put on this front, and she wants people to think she has to, you know, I have this knowledge and I can go in and win and beat. No, that's not how it works in court. And these judges don't put up with that nonsense. They would not let half of her supporters in on a virtual hearing because they're not trying to see half the comments flying through. They don't put up with that in court. And if you're dodging it by filing a motion to dismiss, then why would you tell your audience you want to get to the discovery phase? You want to fight. Why not just be honest with them and just say, listen, this is based on federal rules of civil procedure. I filed the motion to dismiss. It's just a standard part of the procedure. Keep it simple. And then if that gets denied, then you go through, okay, well, we have some confidence that we have a good case, a good defense, blah, blah, blah. She won't even keep it like Piers Morgan told her. You can't even read the lawsuit, Candace, and remain impartial with that. So trying to report this information impartially is something she's incapable of doing, because it comes down to, here's where I have to paint the story, because if not, either the incompetence is going to come through or the lies are going to come through. and it's one or the other.
Yeah.
So you can see how she acts and how she behaves and how she carries herself when it comes to someone suing her. So let me ask you this: do you think Turning Point USA should file a lawsuit against
her? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they were smart. I think their strategy was smart to begin with,
okay.
where it was, let's ignore her. You know,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Starve her of oxygen,
Mhm.
and because anything we give her, she's going to just use for more engagement. I think that was smart. I think they made a mistake because there was more and more chatter off the stuff that she was saying that they felt like that they needed to answer questions. So they felt like they needed to talk about how Charlie Kirk wasn't converting to Catholicism. They needed to explain why one of their crew members took the SD cards. They needed to come out and acknowledge group chats with Charlie Kirk about him abandoning the pro-Israel cause. They did this middle ground that I think hurt them. I think starving her of attention was the right way to go about it. I think either do that or come out hard early. Come out hard to say, like, what are you doing? It's complete rubbish. And we're not going to have it. And I think we're talking about that's what they did last week. So we're talking about allowing her to have this campaign of 3 months of sowing doubt and flinging mud and finding anything they could to discredit TPUSA. And so I think by the time TPUS has come out and now pushing back, it's kind of too late. She's done so much damage to that brand that I think a lot of those people that you potentially could have reached early on have now gone to the Candace side of things. My fear is that she is going to go after Erica, and that by the time it gets so bad that Erica feels like she needs to come out against Candace, it'll be too late, and Candace will also have done a good job of discrediting Erica. It's all lose-lose. There's no good situation here.
Yeah, I just I was gonna ask that.
Erica, and it's like, I mean, Erica, it's like what she's gone through, you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. I can't even imagine what that's like. I do personally think that you're the CEO of TPUSA. It's got to the point where Candace Owens is saying that TPUSA was implicated of the assassination of your former CEO, and she's actively telling people to pull donations from your organization. I kind of feel like you as the CEO, you should be stepping up and saying, I'm not having this.
That would be lawsuit worthy too, because I mean that's tortious interference. They're a 501c3. Their revenue comes primarily through these donations and contributions, and then who is Candace Owens to tell someone they can't donate? I mean, it's supposed to be a nonprofit organization. So, this is, once again, I did a video debunking her and this other content creator she played about the endowment. It's like they didn't even look up the definition of endowment. It's like, okay, an endowment is where they get to transfer money to, this subsidiary and actually use it to invest. And then they take the ROI that they generate from that. And then that is what they use to put back into Turning Point to pay for expenses. But the core principle of the investment sits in the account. That is how endowments work. They didn't even go over the baseline information of an endowment. And she put it out here that they didn't file their tax documents in a timely manner, but didn't go on the IRS website to see that not only they can get an extension, but they could also apply for an additional 3-month extension with a justifiable excuse. So it's as opposed to her just researching that information first and then talking about it, she just jumps out there, and it's like she's so starved to put out the next most sensational thing she can come up with. Basic research is not even being done. Basic information that she could gather, not even happening.
Yeah, I mean, she from the very beginning after Charlie Kirk was killed, she was already saying that he was betrayed by everyone. And she was already immediately insinuating that TPUSA was involved. Whether it was to do with the Hampton meetings or to do with who was going to take over and Charlie Kirk's notebooks and the plans.
Right.
Straight away, she was targeting TPUSA. Hey, like, how amazing is it that her early instincts, based on no evidence whatsoever, have been confirmed by her investigation, based on evidence that we haven't seen. What a miracle! Right. I mean, that's how good her instincts were. That immediately the people that she blamed straight away, turns out that all the clues and tips and evidence that we haven't seen led right there. I mean, that's hell of an investigation. People talk about the idea of has anyone profited more from Charlie Kirk's death than Candace Owens? And
I don't think anyone's profited more from her than her. She's the one that's profited the most.
I mean, every single episode has been dedicated to Charlie Kirk and her investigation. And she's climbed her way to the #1 podcast in the world. As you point out, it's not. But my question is there anyone else that wants Tyler Robinson to get a mistrial or an innocence
exactly
than Candace Owens, other than Tyler Robinson?
In his defense, he admitted to it. It's like, what is she doing?
Can you imagine her reaction? Her reaction if he got off would just be she would be like,
she would be elated.
Vindication. I'm completely right. I mean, that's where it goes back to.
Oh my God.
How do you think Erica Kirk feels about that? Like you said, Erica Kirk believes that Tyler Robinson is, based on the evidence, believes that they've got the right guy. So, I can't imagine that Erica Kirk's over the moon with Candace Owens. We all know it. We all know it that she really wants an innocence or a mistrial verdict.
Yeah, I think she wants first of all, you got to get to the point where you have an impartial jury selected. She wants to taint the entire jury pool. I mean, you can't. There are federal rules and laws regarding releasing evidence. Candace thinks she's entitled to it, and she's not. She's not a commissioned law enforcement officer. She's not an investigator. The fact that she doesn't even mind people impersonating investigators is disturbing to me. But this goes back to like you said, she care less about how Erica Kirk feels, because even if you're saying, okay, I'm just going to at least be, if Charlie Kirk was someone I love like a brother, hypothetically, and he was married and he had 2 kids, let me, out of respect, at least not say or do anything that would come off like I'm trying to attack her and how she feels. And if she doesn't have, and I say this in my shows, if she doesn't believe Tyler Robinson is the shooter, then someone is. Who is the shooter? It's either him or someone else. Who's the other shooter? Show evidence, show a name, narrow it down to 2 or 3 people, and then tell us a name, give us a photo or a lineup of who these other possible shooters are. She hasn't even gotten to that point. It's a blue and yellow Egyptian plane with a bunch of people on it, some sort of non-existent female assassin, a male Israeli operative, but no names, no photos, nothing that is even indicating that she's narrowing down to 1 or 2 people that could be the alternatives. So if you're not introducing the alternatives here, we're close to that, then why attack the investigation? Candace also said she doesn't even care about the investigation. I snipped it. She literally said, I don't care about the investigation. So she doesn't care about it. And yet Erica Kirk believes it. There's laws on why you can't get evidence. At the very least, let the case go through court and leave it be. Why not just, I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm going to let that, and then I'll still do research here, but I'm not going to sit and attack it and put information out that could even remotely taint the jury pool. Why do all of that if you don't believe it?
Let's look at Charlie Kirk and his life and what he built up. This is someone who's a husband, a father, a Christian Protestant,
Mm-hmm.
someone who built this massive organization, TPUSA, that
Mm-hmm.
from everyone who's close to him and knows him, apparently was the thing that he was the most proud of,
Mm-hmm.
and it created significant change in the politics in America, and he
Sure.
also helped to build this coalition within the
Mm-hmm.
conservative movement. He apparently loved Trump. You saw after Trump was elected in that last election, he was just
Mm-hmm.
over the moon about it. He
Yeah.
was also pro-Israel. He was very, very vocal about that. And
Mm-hmm.
even up to just recently, with sending Benjamin Netanyahu a letter about this is how you need to actually combat the people
Yep.
who are trying to tear down Israel and criticizing you. These are all the things that Charlie Kirk was, according to him, years and years of him, very, very
Yes, exactly.
person, and also the people closest to him. Now look at what
Mm-hmm.
Candace Owens is doing. She's
Right.
saying everything in Charlie Kirk's life was a lie. Everything. He
Yep.
was in the Truman Show. She's saying that TPUSA betrayed him. She's saying that Trump betrayed him. She's saying that he was no longer a Protestant and he was becoming a Catholic. She's saying that he turned against Israel. All of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Now, isn't it amazing that all of these things
No
that
evidence.
she seems to found about him now, based on no
Mhm.
evidence whatsoever?
Right.
Isn't it amazing that all of these things are exactly what she is and what she believes? What a
Right.
coincidence.
Yeah.
Is that a
It's
coincidence?
like she wants
Does
them
that
to be
point-
the
Does that point to her? Does
believe
that
it.
point
It's
to her doing a selfless, rigorous investigation based on facts, or does that point to her, who is someone who has an agenda, who's a
Yep.
bitter, twisted person, who's trying to take this man's life, who's accomplished so much, and to
Yep.
twist it and to make it into this mirror image of herself and what she
So-
believes, and
Exactly.
she doesn't care at all about the truth about who he actually was. When you look at who she's attempting to twist Charlie Kirk into, and the fact that it's identical to who Candace Owens is, that's not a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. It's in her mind, her and Charlie Kirk are the same person. Never mind the fact that he was his own individual. He married another woman. He had 2 kids. He had a mother. He had a father. He had family. Everyone is fake. Okay, so I even said this yesterday. Does that mean the kids are fake? Does that mean Erica Kirk is fake? Yeah, when she's attacking Turning Point, the fact is, it is a fact. Erica Kirk is the CEO. So when you're attacking Turning Point, you're including her in it. You're not being specific and saying everyone except Erica Kirk. She's not being specific and even giving that exception. She is including it. And I'm going to tell you right now, her supporters could care less about Erica Kirk. They literally think she fake cries and she give fake interviews. And, she was so fake at the, memorial. This woman lost her husband. And Candace does not have to explain to her 4 children why their father is not coming home anymore. She doesn't have to do that. Erica Kirk has to explain this to her kids. But Candace Owens doesn't have to do that. They get to still run up to their dad. They can't, Erica, their kids, her children are still asking, when is daddy coming home? Candace does not have to give that answer or even be faced with that question from her 4 children, from any of her kids. And it's like her humanity and her soul, the ability for her to even be empathetic is gone. It's almost like it never existed. And that's the worst part about it. That the idea that these kids, are asking, when is daddy still coming home? She doesn't care about that. She doesn't care.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. She has effectively manipulated her audience into believing that she's the only one that cares. That is the thing. That's
crazy.
what you're up against. You're up against these people who, and I get it in my comments, that Candace is the only. Why don't you care? Why don't you care about the truth? Candace is the only one who's, actively trying to find out what really happened to Charlie Kirk. Why don't you stop criticizing Candace Owens and actually help her get to the truth? The fact that people are saying this with a straight face, is incredible to me. The fact that anyone, legitimately took her seriously and thought that she was conducting any kind of investigation. I mean, this is I post videos.
Mind-boggling.
I post videos of what she was doing before Charlie Kirk died, and it's just gibberish. You know,
Yeah.
it's her just
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, you know, Brigitte Macron was in the Stanford prison experiment based on this one screenshot that you
Right.
know someone who was
MK Ultra and something.
yeah, all this
It's
stuff."
like it's just like what does that have to like? Why are you in France? I think most people are asking that. Why is she talking about anything in France? Why are you, if it's America first, then why not be America first? Why not talk about the things that are concerning to Americans? Like, what do you care about what's going on over there in France and the French president's home in his bed? Why do you care about that? If you're gonna pick a president or the first lady of a country, why don't you start with the U.S. president? I mean, she would never do that with the U.S. president, the first lady, Melania Trump. So if you wouldn't do it here, why France? Why are you even doing that in general? What interest does it have for Americans? How does that help us as a country? How does that help us as a people? How does that help pass any policy or anything to help? How does that benefit anybody?
Yeah, but
You know,
this is
it's
where
just insane.
you're a good person and you're a good journalist, and that you're motivated by the truth and
Yeah.
by what's right. But Candace,
Right.
in her response to TPUSA when they asked her to come
Mhm.
debate, you know, she gave it away. She gave it away in how she actually sees things, because she
Mhm.
says free market. Charlie Kirk died, and
Yeah.
look at me and look at what I've done, and look, I've climbed
Mhm.
to the top of the podcast. So that shows that what
Mhm.
I'm doing is right and true. And the fact
Mhm.
you haven't got the same engagement as I do proves that what you're doing is wrong. Now, I mean,
Right.
that's everything.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
pure grifter, where it's
Yeah.
just as I've been saying, everything that drives her is about engagement, about being relevant.
Yep.
So
Yep.
she sees that she's getting 250,000 people tuning in for a live stream. I
Yeah.
mean, she's going to keep doing
Her
that.
her cult
That's
members
partly
come and tell
that's
me that.
partly why. But it's partly why it's her, like, her tip line and her audience are her
Mhm.
biggest enemy,
Yeah.
because it's like what you're saying. It's this thing where they feed each other. They
Yeah.
got to keep feeding each other. And like you're saying, YouTube is not the
Mhm.
real world.
It's
She's heading
exactly.
towards an Alex Jones, Sandy Hook type scenario. I mean, she's
Yeah.
already been sued as a very legitimate case by the Macrons. So
Yep.
she's very much about to pay real world consequences for this
Right.
conspiracy land, fairy
Yep.
tale gibberish that she's been spewing to audience.
Yeah. Exactly. And she's gonna find out the hard way how evidence really works in court, and the discovery phase, and how subpoena power works as well, because she doesn't have concept of those things. I just these are the worst part is that basic evidence that people ask for, she can't present it, and then of course her wanting the views and the likes and the engagement and the money, her own followers go in chat and confirm this by restating that she's getting all these views and she's rich and she's getting all this money. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose your soul? It doesn't matter if you're getting all these things, because at the end of the day, you put her under oath. She dare not repeat none of this stuff she said when she doesn't have evidence to support it. She will never say these things under oath. She will not say these things if she had to go to the court of law. Just like she wants to sit here and say, I never said that Brigitte Macron was born male. You could go and play word salad in court if you want to. It's just going to piss off the judge. She
Yeah.
will never say these things under the penalty of perjury, because she knows she will be lying. Just like she will not file a formal FBI complaint under the penalty of perjury, Candace, because you're saying that the entire country is after you to try to take out an assassination on you. Why send a text message if you can just go on the FBI website and file a formal complaint and then post up your confirmation of that, so that we can all see that you're taking this seriously? If she truly wanted to do that, she could, but she won't do it, because she knows there's a penal code, a federal penal code that says you give false statements to a federal government agency, that is a felony, and they can charge you with a crime. She knows these things, but once again, evidence does not rule the day, and logic is out the window. And when she gets in front of that camera, let me stick to my script. Let me read my script, and that's it.
you see that, she does that well, so she'll even use the lawsuit for content. Yeah, and she'll say, look, the Macrons mentioned MK Ultra 18 times.
Things that we don't care about.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, this is it's so strange that they've mentioned MK Ultra 18 times. All I did was just say it was a coincidence that Brigitte Macron's birthday was the same day that MK Ultra started. It's amazing. She'll tell that to her audience, and this is the same audience that watched her in that first season of Brigitte Macron over and over again. That Emmanuel Macron was part of the MK Ultra experiment. Which is why they've included it in their lawsuit, because she absolutely insinuated. And then 6 months later, she'll say to that same audience, "It's so strange that they've mentioned MK Ultra. I don't know why they've said that." And the audience will be like, "Okay, yeah, you're right, Candace.
You're right. Yeah, it's 22 times. We can't believe it. We counted." And then they'll go and come into my chat and say, "Lady Luck, prove what you're saying." I don't owe Candace Owens any evidence. That's for her to prove. She's the one bringing forth the allegation, because once again, she doesn't understand how this stuff works. But no, they watch the shows. They watched it. I'm not watching the Brigitte Macron series because I don't need to. The judge will not be watching the Becoming Brigitte series. Judge Rennie will not be interested in watching that. The jury more than likely will be selected based on the fact that they did not see it, because they want an impartial jury as well. So that stuff will not matter. Where it matters, like where, to me, where it would have the most value is in the court of law. None of that stuff she says, her Becoming Brigitte series, none of that stuff will mean anything when she goes to court. It will be used against her, but it won't be used as evidence to prove her case. And she's going to go in there, and I'm just, all too happy to report on everything that's said and done in that court of law, because Candace, I'm going to be listening in on those hearings. But she's going to go in there and find out the hard way. And, if her audience is still stuck with that, then I'm going to keep laughing at them.
She's already planting the seeds for her potentially losing the case, and I think that's where it's
is she? So she's accepted she's losing.
Well, that's where it's like with this conspiracy theory stuff, like everything only works to confirm the conspiracy. So it's if she loses the case, then that's only proof that she's telling the truth and she's over the target, and the whole system is against her. That's how it works.
That's the same. She putting it up.
But it was the same thing with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate, he's still criminally charged in the UK and Romania, and always his fans would say innocent until proven guilty. When you're talking about his case, and now this is the guy who Andrew Tate's whole thing is like, I'm being attacked by the Matrix. So his whole thing is because he told men to go to the gym, and said horrible things about women, I believe. That because of that, multiple governments around the world then launch investigations against him for human trafficking and horrible things. So they believe that the Matrix is that powerful enough to be able to weaponize the legal system. So that's where they say innocent until proven guilty, and it's like, even if he's found guilty, you guys aren't even going to believe it.
It's same thing with you can put all the evidence in front of Candace and lay it out plain. It's like she's taking a page from Andrew Tate, I guess. It's like they're feeding off each other on how to be the biggest narcissist ever. It won't matter, because the Macrons have done that. They have sent photos. They have sent a birth announcement. They've sent exhibits for her to use as evidence. Because here in this reality on Earth, the court does not care, Candace, if you don't like the exhibits. If it's accepted and entered as evidence into the case, that is how that's going to go. The end. Whether she likes it or not is irrelevant. But it doesn't matter what you give them. They won't accept it. It's just like with the letter. The Israeli prime minister, he's lying by, omission if he doesn't post the whole thing. He posts the whole thing. Well, I don't believe it came from, Charlie's email address. Can we verify that email address? Are you in the year? Can you verify the email address for me and see if that actually came from his email? It's like, girl, what are you talking about? Yeah. You can't, whether he emailed it, he faxed it, sent it by a bird and a stork, it doesn't matter. He wrote the letter.
Yeah.
And you can't prove that he didn't, if you want to do that. But you said post the letter. That's all an entire prime minister of Israel heeded to her nonsense and said, you know what? I'll post it up, because if he didn't do it, then he's got something to hide. But he posted it up. Now it's not real. And Charlie Kirk didn't write it. It doesn't matter what you give her. That's the narcissism in that. Doesn't matter what you give her.
Yeah,
it's what I want to put forward. Yeah, it's my story. It's my narrative. I don't care what you put in front of me. I don't care about facts and evidence until, I just got hit with the lawsuit. How dare they? How dare you? How dare you think that freedom of speech, freedom of the press works only one way? How dare you think that somehow defamation is protected by the First Amendment, to which is not, Candace. Defamation is not protected by the First Amendment. That's not free speech. So when you get caught up and you get sued for it, don't go crying about it all over the internet, Candace. Take it like a champion.
Yeah, I think she's not going anywhere. I think that's where people are thinking, she'll lose the Macron lawsuit or something. She's not going. I think she'll probably implode. It was like the Daily Wire thing. I think it'll, it's like what happened with the social autopsy. Same thing. She'll implode and then she'll move on to the next grift. You're already kind of seeing that she's moving back towards the left. And she's saying that she doesn't care about midterms and God. I mean, that's the thing with Candace Owens. She literally believes in nothing. So there is no consistency whatsoever. Anything, literally you can't point to anything she believed in 10 years ago that she still believes in today. And she's entirely reactive to what's happening in culture. So that's why you can't predict where she's going to be, because she just, she just reacts. It's like, Trump's elected president. That's cool now. All right, I'm a conservative. Hey, people are turning against Israel because of the war in Gaza. Hey, I'm really pro-Palestine, she could absolutely become like a lefty in 5 years.
Overnight. It won't even take 5 years. She's such an extremist. She can go just now. She's saying, I'm neutral. And then by tomorrow it'll be, you know what? I've gone back to the Democrat. It's like, she always
bites the hand that feeds her.
Yes.
So she does that with the NAACP. The NAACP represented her in this case in high school about her
for the harassment.
Being like racially harassed. And so she won, like 30 grand. And then she turns around and just completely just says like NAACP's, an enemy.
Just spit in their faces, and then starts this. And in the social autopsy, I wanted to ask you about a follow-up with the with her, what is her name? Treehouse.
Tree of Logic.
We said no, I'm sorry.
Tree of Logic.
I'm sorry. Tree of Logic. What has she done? Because of course Candace doxed her. What was her follow-up steps? What has she done to try to, gain that protection back again? Is she going to file a lawsuit against Candace? I mean, what's the result of what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, so she had the social autopsy was sitting there and it still had a bunch of doxers on it. So Tree of Logic found out about that after Candace became a conservative. And so she found that her dox was on there. So she tried to get Candace to take it down and Candace blocked it. She didn't want to hear anything. So she was a cop. So she had two people that she put in prison that had vowed to get revenge and even kill
Yeah.
her. So that
Yeah.
the stakes were high to get that information taken down, and Candace just didn't care less. I mean, this is a site that doxed minors as well, so
Yeah.
why
And she bragged about that.
yeah, what are you appealing to? There is no humanity there
Yeah.
to appeal
Exactly.
to. But Candace came out hard against Tree of Logic and claimed that she was a drug addict and was out of her mind. And also, tell me if this sounds familiar, she claimed that she was getting paid to attack her.
Oh,
from
dear
some
Lord.
shadowy- She was so the same stuff we're talking about a decade before. Nothing's changed.
I can't make this up. Candace, you have no originality, girl. You just copy and paste.
You might have covered it in the Dave Rubin that crazy debate with Blair White.
Yeah,
Makes these claims, and Blair White's like, "What's your evidence?" And Candace Owens is like, "You can't prove me wrong, so I can't prove you wrong."
You right. Yeah, you can't prove that. I did not say that.
Blair and Dave Rubin are like, "No, you're making the claim. Like, you need to provide the evidence. Nothing's changed.
Right.
Nothing's changed at all." So anyway, so Tree of Logic wanted to sue her for defamation because she had said that she was like a drug addict. She was on crack or whatever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, by the time that she got enough money to be able to sue her, the statute of limitations where she had lapsed.
Oh wow.
So she wasn't able.
That sucks.
So she wasn't able to do that. But Tree of Logic is rightfully, she's rightfully. I don't know if bitter is the right way to say it, but she rightfully points to conservatives and says, "I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. You let the fox into the chicken coop. I was warning you about from the very beginning. So all of you that have now, got bit by her, I was telling you exactly who she was. I was trying to ring the bell. You didn't come to help me." She says that she had to appeal to the people on the left and libertarians with the doxing stuff to get that taken down. So she did want to sue her, but unfortunately, I mean, it costs a lot to take out legal action like that. And unfortunately, the time had lapsed. But I think it's hilarious. It's Candace. She hasn't changed. That's why people are like, Candace is crazy. It's like same. She's always been the same.
This is a copy and paste. That's why I that's personally why I keep saying that. I don't believe it's a matter of delusion. She knows what she's doing. She's been doing this. I mean, it's a copy and paste. She'll be doing this if this method keeps working for her, and she's getting these, mommy sleuths to impersonate investigators, and sit here and dox people and commit cyber crimes all over the place. Then she'll be able to keep doing this for however long, and just this whole method in any situation, whether it's the Macrons, whether it's, dealing with Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk. At some point, this venom that she has is going to spill over into direct attacks on Erica Kirk. And unfortunately, it's like you said, her people will be so numb to it, they'll probably welcome it because it'll just be something new. It won't be, let's revisit the Egyptian planes again, or, let's keep putting up medical information from the hospitals because I don't believe the autopsy report. Like, it'll have to be something. She'll have to be more sensational, more conspiratorial, just to keep their interest. And it's going to get to a point where she's going to have to face Erica Kirk, or she's going to start attacking her head on. And they won't even, it's that's going to be the implosion moment, if that makes sense. Once she starts hitting the target, which is Erica Kirk, at that point, I think that's when she's really going to implode. Because Erica Kirk represents all the things that Candace Owens wants that she doesn't have. She had Charlie Kirk, she's got Turning Point, she's got all these things that Candace really wants. And I personally, I just think Candace is severely jealous and envious of Erica Kirk. That's just, based on my research and my thought, and hear her speak and how she keeps, you don't forget that Erica Kirk is the CEO when you keep attacking Turning Point. And then for you to say, well, she has to draw the line between being a CEO and a widow. Why? How about you produce evidence to back up these things that you're saying? And she wouldn't have to, you feel like she needs to draw the line. No, you need to provide evidence. Otherwise, when you speak ill and you're attacking Turning Point, you're automatically including her because she's the CEO. You can't expect her to separate herself from that. That's a part of her life now. Whereas she may not have had to play that role before, now she does. And that's the reality of the situation. So either you're going to have to provide evidence, or you understand when you talk in attack Turning Point and you're saying donors should not, should be requesting refunds. Do you understand that directly affects her? Because moving forward, if they stop donating, she's the CEO. She's got to make decisions now about what happens financially with the company. Why would you do it if you know that I'm not trying to attack her, but you are? That affects her directly as well. These financial decisions she's got to make now, being the board of the president, the president of the board for the endowment. She's got to make those decisions about investments and where the money is going. How much of the ROI to put back into the parent company. She's got to make all those decisions that Charlie Kirk was making. So you saying donors should not be giving money or they should be requesting refunds? That, of course, that's a decision she's going to have to start making and think about financially where the company goes. Why put it out there if you're not attacking her? That's the implosion that's happening here. And I think that's where she's going to end up, because otherwise people are going to get bored with it. Because if they're there for the entertainment, if they're there for the sensationalism, where do you go from here?
I really hope just, we as a culture in the West, we move away from the conspiracy sensational type stuff.
I hope so too.
I really hope we do. I really hope that that there's much more of, everything we've spoken about, the idea of being evidence-based and rigorous in your thinking, and logical, and reporting on things that are true. I hope that these are values that we regain, because I think as long as we don't, there's going to be Candace Owens, and she's going to be popular, because it's like what I think what you were saying is that Candace Owens is an extremist in that I think when you look at her left-wing blog, Degree 180. I don't think there was any traction there. There was not original. That was not noteworthy. It was when she tried to do a doxing site to remove anonymity from the internet that was the first taste of big attention, and that big attention was negative because it was a terrible idea. It was not a good idea. It was a very, very bad idea.
Exactly.
You should not be doxing. You should not be doxing minors. People have a right to be anonymous and to say things online without having where they work, and their photos and their real names and things that are publicly available in a database. That's a terrible idea. There's a reason why that's never been done. And I think that's why even Candace Owens, like I've said, when she was on Daily Wire, that was her best try at being a legitimate commentator. And I think she was reasonably successful, but I don't think she was satisfied by that level of success. And I think that's why it imploded at the Daily Wire, because I think she was far more hungry for more. And I do get that. To me, she always seemed bigger than Daily Wire. And she got what she wanted, but the price of that is that she has zero credibility. No one serious takes her seriously.
No, not at all. I can't even listen to her show by myself. I have to go live. And
it's enraging
suffer with me.
It is enraging because you're seeing someone treat you like a complete idiot because she just lies, and when you wake up to her tricks, it's very obvious what she's doing. It's very very obvious. But it's also deeply disturbing when you think about how many people are watching this and taking it in.
Hundreds of thousands.
So I predict if she loses the Macron stuff,
Oh, she
you know,
won't. I'm saying that for sure.
I think she'll keep going where she's going
Mhm.
for a while, and I think it'll continue to be lucrative, and she'll have a really hardcore cult-like following. But I hope that inevitably that market for that dries up and we move away from that stuff. I fully predict that she'll try again to be credible. Maybe she'll make a go at selling her life and being like, I was radicalized by the right and
Oh
they took
Lord,
me in, and that's how I went crazy. But
Candace, that will require reading, girl.
yeah. But I think that's the thing. It's like she's
Oh, Lord.
inherently a pretty dumb person who I think
Yes,
is very, very lazy and
exceptionally.
her
Just
ambition
research
is
endowments, Candace. Like research and Google the word endowment. Like it's just basic definitions of terms.
I think
After like truth, facts, evidence. These things she needs to Google.
her ambition drives her. Her thirst to like have attention and to be relevant is what drives her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that'll always be there. But yeah, I mean, gosh, I think an implosion's coming pretty quick. And then she'll have to just like rebrand in some way.
Yeah. I have a super I got you the cat lady. She's asking for Nathan, how do you technically collect clips and remember and cross info, etc.? It can't be easy. Can you please share your technical method? Thank you.
Yeah, I use for screen recording, I use Movavi is the software. And that's a
You said
subscription.
Revolve?
It's called Movavi, Movavi. That's a good one for screen recording.
MOVAVI. Okay.
Yeah, so I recommend that. You do have to pay for that for a subscription, but if you're doing a lot of clipping, that's worth getting. And then I edit with DaVinci Resolve. That's a free software you can download. That's really good. I'm pretty bad with the storage stuff, with archiving stuff. I'm not very good at that. It's actually a mess. And so I have a pretty good memory with this kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I've made so many videos now, I can go to those cuts and know where I've used footage before. But I mean, by far, if people don't know, the most valuable resource is the transcript function from YouTube.
Okay.
That's that is the most valuable resource for anyone that doesn't know. So you can just keyword in, and that'll save you a lot of time. So if you're trying to find like when did Candace, talk about Frankists,
no, you can just Google, type it in.
Yeah, you can type that in. You can find that. So that saves a lot of time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always happy. I always like answering the technical questions because I encourage everyone to make more people who are making videos and doing this stuff. The better.
Oh yeah, and I think there was a follow-up. She asked, how do you remember and cross just your mind? Wow. Are you asking if you said you just kind of do it by memory?
Yeah, I've got
I want to make sure I want to ask
memory.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got pretty good memory with this kind of stuff.
Okay. Let's see here. And my question I wanted to ask the follow-up regarding the lawsuit that was filed against you from Andrew Tate. You did a video. You said that there was the motion to dismiss was granted with opportunity to file an amended leave with the leave to amend. Do you think that he's going to do that? You think he's going to file an amended complaint?
They've got a short window with the leave to amend.
Yeah, they had like 22 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's under a month. I'm not sure if they will, because I don't know if they'll be able to satisfy what the issue was for why it was dismissed. So I'm pretty confident that I'll be dismissed without prejudice, like with the other defendants. So that does, the dismiss without prejudice means that they can then file again defamation, which I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do.
Okay. And are you surprised that were you the only co-defendant named where it was the claim against you was just dismissed without prejudice with leave to amend? Were you the only one where that was the outcome as far as
Yeah,
co-defendants?
yes, I was, and
Okay.
I think that's why I'm pretty confident that will be changed, because I think the judge just needs to see the argument
Okay.
for that for why.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why we're pretty confident that I'll be dismissed without prejudice, the same as everyone else.
Okay. And can you just kind of give people an overview of the time frame that it took from when the complaint was filed to this point? Because we're seeing and we'll be following and monitoring the case, from the Macrons against Candace. And one of the questions I get is, when are the hearings going to start? When is this going to start moving along in the court? So can you just kind of give people an overview of what you experienced with the lawsuit filed against you?
Yeah, so the Tates filed a lawsuit in March this year, and
Okay.
so it's taken to us just last Friday. It was
Wow.
then dismissed. So, and there's been several couple of hearings leading up to that. So, I mean, that's how slow things go.
Right.
And we crowdfunded a bit over 40 grand, and
Wow.
I mean, like a significant amount of that will have been
Mhm.
used up. I think we'll have a little bit left over afterwards.
Okay.
But that's where people say, "Oh, well, if you told the truth, you got nothing to worry about." These are people who've never had to go to court to defend themselves and don't know how much the legal
Yeah.
bills pile
Right.
up. So yeah, I mean the lawsuit was fairly complicated as well, because the premise of the
Mhm.
lawsuit was that I defamed them, and they gave their examples, but it was also that I was part of a conspiracy to defame them with other people, and so it was me and
Almost like a
other.
RICO, sort of similar to a RICO?
It was me and other citizen journalists. They claimed had worked together with a lawyer for some of them, their UK alleged victims, in a civil
Oh, dear
cause.
Lord. Wow.
So that civil cause is these alleged victims are suing Andrew Tate. So they're going to trial
Uh-huh.
next year. And also in this same lawsuit, it was one of their lawyers that's part of the National Center on Sexual
Mhm.
Exploitation, who's
Okay.
representing that alleged trafficking victim that Candace
Right.
Owens went after. So
The
that
minor.
organization is representing this alleged victim.
Mhm.
And so they also included one of the lawyers from that organization. So
Oh
it was
my
a bunch
God.
of accounts on Twitter and then a couple of these lawyers, and it was this idea that we all conspired to defame them.
Get this up.
And then the thing is that
Lord.
the majority of us aren't even in America. I think only one of the defendants was in Florida, where the lawsuit was based. So
The
it's a
lawsuit
very
was based in Florida, and he's not even in America, is he?
no. I believe it was the only place that they could get away with filing a lawsuit
What?
like that.
You gotta
So
be kidding. That
even a
in Delaware, I
lawsuit,
guess.
yeah. So even a lawsuit like this, which is like on the face of it clearly frivolous, and I believe just was an intimidation tactic. Even a lawsuit like that, it takes almost a year to get to the point where the judge can actually hear the arguments for
Yeah.
why even just on
Yeah.
jurisdiction grounds that is, let alone how they attempted to serve us as well, which also uh, wasn't right. They didn't go through the right process of that.
Oh,
um
wow.
that's largely why it was thrown out.
Okay, good. Lack of
Yeah.
jurisdiction. Failure to. It sounds like they tried to e-serve. You can't, man. You can't make this stuff up. And then, um, I guess with moving forward. I mean, you get these lawsuits like this where they try to tie you up in courts. They want you to spend money frivolously. Andrew Tate might be able to afford, attorneys on retainers to probably, for
Yeah, he does.
yeah, and he doesn't care. But you know, I mean, do you? And let's just say this, because this is a question that gets asked, and it just, for shock value, I guess. Do you think that the Macrons filed a lawsuit against Candace, to get her bankrupted, as she claims, or for her to be bankrupted?
No, I mean,
No, but I was just asking.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think they filed a lawsuit because it's just, I don't know if it was a good idea for them to file a lawsuit, for one thing.
Okay.
I think in many ways it can legitimize her by giving it that amount of attention. So I'm not sure if it's a good idea. It's similarly, I don't think it's a good idea to be prosecuting people in France who are making the same allegations. I don't think that's right. But I think what she's done is horrible. I'm not even a fan of the Macrons necessarily, but her campaign of harassment and bullying.
I mean, I don't even have to know them, and I'm just like, this
yeah. Well, I mean, what a horrible thing to do to a woman. That she Candace clearly is gleeful and enjoys. But it's one of those things where it's like it's so horrible what she's done to them, and how she's just flat out launched this campaign of lies and harassment that I mean she should go bankrupt. I have nothing against the Macrons than trying to take her for everything. Good, yeah.
I mean, I say because being an independent journalist, the last thing you want to be is sued all day because you gave your thoughts, you did reporting on something. But it like I said, it comes down to a point where it goes back to what the law states and what the law covers. The First Amendment does not cover defamation. That is not protected free speech. And if she wants to uphold the United States Constitution and U.S. laws, that is what the law states. So you go out and make provable false statements against someone, and you have a reckless disregard of the truth, even if you're, proclaiming to be a member of the press, at some point there's just the price to pay for that. And it's just, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth giving out statements that I can't even Google, to get information or evidence to support. It's just not worth it. Trying to say someone is born a certain gender is a matter of, and I've said this time and time again in the LLC, it's a matter of science and biology and human anatomy. That can be scientifically proven. Why go out knowing you don't have the evidence to prove that and make that type of claim? Your policy, the policies they have in France, even though it wouldn't apply to us Americans, we're not bound to obey the laws of France, and they are not bound to obey our laws here. They're a sovereign nation, so are we. So our Constitution does not allow for us to uphold the laws of another country. And they have the same. But why risk it? It's like, why do that if you don't have the scientific evidence to prove that she was born a man, or even medical records to prove she had a sex change? Why even go there? That's what it comes down to.
I don't think that she thought that she was going to be sued by them. I don't think I think she's genuinely. I think she was genuinely shocked that they did it.
She was pretty mad.
That's why it's like they have every right to do it, and I hope they win. I think
me too.
I think they're in the right, but I don't know if it's smart necessarily from a PR. I don't think it's smart from that idea of if you're attempting to disprove her claims by suing her, there is a risk that you could lose, which would be terrible. It would be worst case scenario. But I mean that is the difference. That is the funny thing of seeing Candace Owens sued for defamation by Macrons while I've been sued by the Tates for defamation.
I know.
I mean, the example for me,
irony of it.
examples that they used for me was me directly quoting the Romanian indictment. So I directly quoted the Romanian prosecutor, and the Tates.
Mhm.
The Tates would then, in the lawsuit, they removed the fact that I cited the Romanian prosecutor and made it look like I'm making this statement.
What?
You know, that's the kind of
Christ.
that's the kind of tricks that they did. You know, so every claim that I made, everything I fully stand by, and I can back it up with receipts, as everything that I posted was backed by. You know, in that post, I'm directly in quotation marks. I'm quoting Romanian prosecutor and citing them, and in the video, I show the indictment with that quotation, and they just delete all that and just say Nathan Livingston said this about the Tates.
Did the attorneys get sanctioned? That's just, you're talking about these attorneys trying to almost mislead the court, and boy, nothing makes a judge more mad than you trying to lie like hell. You're going to court. You're telling this judge, yeah, no, he just made this up, and it's literally in an indictment. Now you're just intentionally trying to mislead the court. Were they sanctioned? Were they even reprimanded for that?
Well, we didn't. Luckily, we didn't. Luckily, we didn't even get to the trial.
Thank goodness.
We even got to that step. You know,
I would think that would have been in your motion to dismiss, or you just like,
it fell apart like within the first hurdles of, you know, have you served them correctly?
I didn't even get past that. Okay, good.
we didn't even get to it. Let's actually look at the claims, the arguments.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where, compared to Candace Owens, where she's saying, you know, I believe that possibly what is it? The Brigitte Macron's sister died, and that Jean-Michel took crazy, you know,
name and identity. Ugh.
Yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing at all. You know.
And the judge is gonna be pretty annoyed having to read that and then ask her about it, and then she's gonna stand there and just look mute because, you know, how dare she go back and repeat this stuff in court under oath? This is the thing, Candace. You're gonna go to court, and then, you know, I don't think that the motion to dismiss, because it's based on a lack of jurisdiction, right? And they're saying, oh well, you know, the defamation didn't occur in Delaware; it occurred in Tennessee. You're admitting to the defamation, though. So you've already dismantled your defense, because she said that the defamation didn't occur in Delaware; it happened in Tennessee. Why are you saying that? Why are you saying even the possibility that you're confirming this complaint? Why even say it? It's so weird. And then it says, you know, well, I have LLCs registered in Delaware. That's why they're in Delaware. The law permits them to be able to file that lawsuit in Delaware, because now you have a viable LLC registered where you're making money off of this defamation. You know, the Candace Owens LLC and Georgetown Inc. She said herself she has LLCs registered in Delaware. The end. This came out of her mouth, and she would have to prove she does it.
The USA lawsuit was Delaware as well.
Was in Delaware, and that was because also the USA Today, Gannett, what was it? Gannett's? I can't think of the other one. The LLC registration for that is in Delaware. So them being the defendant, you know, she was able to pursue that lawsuit in Delaware because the defendant had the LLC registered in Delaware. But she, of course, admitted that in the complaint that her Candace Owens LLC was registered in Delaware. And I even looked up the registration information when they tried to get it switched over to Tennessee. There was an abandoned, some sort of an abandonment that was documented on it. And I'm like, okay, well, the moment that you're talking about the suit being filed based on the statements made and well, the LLC was registered at the time, this defamation occurred, you know, and it hasn't ended because she still doubles down on this stuff.
Yeah.
But you still admit it. You have an LLC registered in Delaware. Your Candace Owens LLC is registered there. Your channel is underneath it. Your social media, that's where all your money is being made. All this merch, all these things that you're doing, you're profiting off of this. It's all being done under this LLC registered in Delaware. That's it. they're following the money, something she hasn't learned how to do. So this is what they're going to do. This is where it's going to go. And let's just say the motion is granted and then they file it in Tennessee. Okay. Then they go to Tennessee with it, where you already said in a video, where they alleged that the defamation occurred. It's in Tennessee. Okay, cool. So now they have that in video. And they can take it to Tennessee and say, look, she said that any complaint or allegation of defamation that occurred here in Tennessee. Here you go. Now we're in Tennessee. What's going to be her excuse then? She's not going to be able to escape it at this point. And it comes down to, Candace, it's not protected free speech. Defamation is not. And you had a reckless disregard of the truth. And they're going to meet their component, their requisite for malice intent. It won't even be difficult because she's doubled down 1,000 times. They sent her exhibits. They sent her photos. Just because she doesn't want to accept it means nothing to the court. They're going to accept it. And that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
this is going to be fun. I look forward to the hearings. So, anything else you want to say? I want to be able to show a couple of the videos you posted up today. But information, anything else, any juicy tea you want to spill upon the Lady Luck Club and share with us? Go ahead, go for it. I'm gonna pull up these two videos.
I'm not sure. Do I have any juicy? I don't know.
There's some juicy tea.
I don't think about it.
What are you working on with some new videos? Are you gonna come out with a new drop a new video regarding?
I'm trying. I was watching every episode of Candace, but even it's so exhausting. It's so, and if you miss one or two, then you're completely these days. You're like, what's going on now? We're back on Ukraine. Asia's in it now. It's really tough.
What is? I mean, I haven't even seen this. This is the thing, because I understand how you feel. I didn't even get the episode in today, and like I said, I don't watch it alone at this point. I pulled the entire Lady Luck Club into that with me, but I have so many instances. Lux is just like, we feel you, Lady Luck. We got to watch it with you, because I can't mentally, I'm like, girl, you so outlandish. I can't watch her stuff by myself. I have to watch it with someone, like a support system. You can't make this up.
Yeah. I feel like I was maybe the only one that was clipping a lot of her stuff regularly before Charlie Kirk died. Whereas now so many people are watching it. A lot of people are clipping stuff. So I'll usually just watch it and then I'll find something that's just immediately oh, that's today. What was it? Today I was working. Oh, she got a tip from someone. And her whole setup is that she was praying in church, and then she really leads into this being this miraculous tip that appeared, and she keeps talking about God throughout. And immediately I remember her talking about Andrew Colvin with the bullet with the spine,
right?
And her saying, "Oh, this is TPUSA really playing into the Christian audience, and playing them for fools by talking about, it's the same thing. She always does that thing.
It comes full circle.
Everything she accuses other people of, she does.
Yeah, I mean, because Candace, somehow you still haven't looked up the definition of the word hypocritical. So
it's all projection. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
Lie, truth, evidence, facts, real. Candace, you got a lot of words to define. So we're going to go ahead and check out two of Milk Bar's videos that I haven't seen yet. Now, I think I've seen all of the videos you've done within the last month and a half. And I'm feel like I'm all caught up, as far as the coverage you've been given with Candace. And so these are the two that I haven't seen that I want to check out. So you guys put a 1 in the chat when you can see it here. Let's get to it. Oh, thumbs up as well.
Special. No, I'm not talking about William and Kate or Harry and Meghan. I'm talking about me. I am getting married this weekend. So we decided that we were going to make this a wedding special and introduce you guys to my fiance, future husband, George Farmer. So just to give everybody context, we got engaged after 2.5 weeks, maybe?
I think it was about that time. Yeah,
Right.
that's right. Yeah.
Right, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, whirlwind romance, I believe. Is the
I know.
expression.
Nothing romantic was said, you know, between that day and the day that we got engaged. Nothing romantic was said at all. You know, there was no overtures. We didn't go for dinner. Like nothing.
Send her flowers.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing exactly. And so I was very clear about that, because
What?
it was almost like getting to know oneself in some ways. It was kind of a very strange experience.
Okay, what do you think he meant by he was very clear about it? Like he told her he didn't want any romance in this? Do you think
It's
he
strange,
told her
right?
that?
One, isn't this is every woman's dream, right? Zero romance, don't go on any dates or anything. Just talk about
Candace,
politics
you
and then you propose on the phone. But yeah, I don't know either. I watched this part several times where he's like, I was very clear about that, no romance. And then he goes into, because she reminded me of myself.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I've got several theories on what he's talking about, but it is not clear.
Yeah, sorry, Playboy. We've all I call him Boys Club rather. Sorry, Boys Club. No one understands what you're clear about.
You know, it was like I saw myself in her, and in doing so,
Oh Lord.
and that sounds sort of, well, I fell in love with myself. No, I didn't fall in love with her. I fell in love with a woman who gave so much of myself back to me, you know, and I kind of I was very willing to let myself fade and give glory to her. You know, that's how I view our marriage in many ways. Like I'm very happy to take a secondary position to give glory.
So what he's saying is that he has yet to tell her to make him a sandwich. Is that what I'm to conclude out of this? He has yet to say, yeah, go make me a sandwich. Like he refuses to tell her that. You can't make this up.
Nothing had been said. Like there'd be no romantic overtures at all at any of this point. It had all just been very kind of above board and talking about politics and engaging in kind of philosophical conversations.
Oh dear Lord.
And then at the end of December, we started. I called her a couple of times just to kind of chat, and again, you know, just had these long, like prolonged conversations, which were mainly about politics and trying to understand what she wanted to do in life. And at the end of December, I was actually flying to South Africa at the time for New Year's, and I called her and I just said, listen, I know this is completely crazy and we've just met, but how do you feel about getting married to me? Just real quick.
This guy's the voice of all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that
this is a normal guy who's asking.
Look, Bar, you're a married man, right? How long did it take for you to between date and propose to your wife? How long did that take? I'm just curious.
I mean, it was what was it? It was too long, to be honest. But
you can't make. They got it done in 18 days, and he did it over Zoom call.
Yeah,
3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you usually go out on a date. You talk about more than just politics. He was like, he was trying to, you know, listen to her, trying to figure out what she wanted to do in life. So you figured that out in 18 days? Like, you can't make this up.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm not even trying to wish ill on their marriage. They have 4 kids. So I hope they do work it out, because George, you will have to pay a lot of child support, bro. But
I mean, look, there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of rumors. People say a lot of things about George.
Yeah.
There are people who've made direct accusations. One prominent man in particular has made very vocal accusations.
Do you think he'll do an interview? Because I would love to interview that man.
He was asking. He's like, I don't know how much I can talk about this guy. Just like sexually, like I've said it all. I'm not going to give an entire interview on just George Farmer.
No. I understand. So you just, you know, the fact that the host right here just cracked this laugh and put this finger up is everything, you all. I just want you all to see this freeze frame. This is everything. All right, let's continue.
I missed the bit where there was any sort of.
There was literally nothing romantic had been said up to this point.
Okay.
I mean, literally nothing.
So, okay, so I missed nothing. Fair
We
enough.
hadn't gone on a date. We had not talked about marriage or the future or anything like that.
All right.
And I
So
just,
boring.
and she said yes.
No.
Yeah,
Come on.
she did.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, she.
You're making it up.
I love our story. I think it's an incredible story. I mean, like, how many people can say that?
I know, not many people
can say that.
And most people are overthinking it. I know girls that are in these sort of tragedy of relationships, 10 years, 10 plus years,
Yeah,
break
yeah.
up,
Lord.
break up galore 17,000 times. Then they finally, get the ring, and that's supposed to be a celebration. Great. If it's what you want. Mine just happened in a different way. And I knew
What?
it was big. I didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hers happened in 17 days.
Yeah, I question about like whether to put that one out or not. Just
I'm
because
glad you did.
because I don't get too much into like the private life stuff, but so many people
Yeah.
ask about like where's her husband?
Exactly.
Why isn't he stepping in to stop this train wreck?
You would think.
But also the main one is like the title on there is that
Mhm.
you just think like if Candace Owens, if that story was one of her enemies, what she would be saying about
Right.
that person and their marriage. Like
Yep.
she goes after someone because their husband was in the army, and that makes them suspicious.
Exactly. This
so
is
A wedding.
This is the title here. I mean, she literally would be saying the exact same things, like you said, that she said at the very end. Oh, well, that's what you want. 17 days. What a whirlwind romance. Like everything would be flipped except the timeline. And it would just be targeted to how dare you sit here and think you're going to have a viable marriage in 18 days? Oh, no. Like it would be just an attack mode,
yeah.
full on attack.
Well, I mean, she
Candace.
says she over and over again insinuates that Emmanuel Macron is gay.
Oh, my God. Yep.
So
But-
that's where I'm kind of just like, all right, you got married after 2 weeks without a single date, and this guy, there have been people who've said that
Mhm.
this guy has come onto him and their men, and, so it's like, I can't even imagine what you would be saying about yourself, let alone the fact that her father-in-law is in the House of Lords and that they come from
That's right.
crazy British, like, but yet,
Oh,
yeah,
money.
what is it like? Lila Rose, her husband was in the army, so that then means that that immediately makes her suspicious.
This coming from the same woman that
I knew it was-
insinuated the entire United States military being involved in the death of a civilian that we witnessed on national television. Like this is the same person who mocks the military by blaming them or accusing them of being involved in some conspiracy or cover up or anything related to a murder. Like the fact that she would go after someone because their spouse is in the military is disgusting. Candace, are you going to ever address the allegation brought forth against, George? Are you going to ever do that? Because that's a serious allegation to me. What you think, Bill Barr? That's a serious allegation. One
It
that
is
Candace
serious.
should be answering to, right? Some man is saying that your husband essayed him. You might want to address that, Candace.
And it's a very prominent person who's made it as well.
Yeah. Did he work at Turning Point with him in UK?
I'm not sure if he worked.
Did they work together in Turning Point?
I'm not sure if he worked at Turning Point, but he's worked in some big like conservative
Okay.
organizations, and I mean you can look it up. It's not that hard to find who we're talking about and find the allegation that he just doubled down on even recently as well.
Yeah, he did. That's how I
Yeah.
saw the post, and I was
Yeah.
like,
He's been making
it
he's been
was
making this
Breitbart.
allegation for years now.
Yeah, it was Breitbart. Thank you so
It
much.
was
That's funny.
Breitbart. Yeah, it was Breitbart.
Breitbart. Okay, so so you're talking about a serious allegation like that from one man against another man. Candace, can you or Boys Club give any response to this? Because this is something else, girl. You can't make this stuff. And then, what? And then I meant to ask you this earlier. The one of the videos that I watched, I think it was the Paramount Tactical, said that she was forced to resign from Turning Point in 2019 do you think what was the reason why she was forced to resign?
Oh, Candace
Why
Owens
did she
was?
leave Turning Point? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that.
Huh. Does anybody know in the chat why she left Turning Point? Because I mean, she treats it like it's her company or something. Like, what happened with that? I'm curious to know that. All right, we got the second video here. Candace Owens continues to just lie, and here's where she's going back and forth saying that she never said Turning Point USA was involved in killing of Charlie Kirk. Roll the tape. So let's start with December 9th.
Was big. I didn't have the players. I certainly didn't suspect Turning Point USA would be, as I believe, involved in a cover up. And we can talk about what the motives are of that. They could be financial motives. It doesn't necessarily mean they were involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that.
The assassination of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of.
It doesn't necessarily mean they were in.
Pause. Here's the part where Candace, the new ruler, is Erica Kirk.
Yeah, that's right.
Milk Bar, what do you think that Charlie Kirk would have had a living will where he wanted his company to go to his wife? I mean, wouldn't that be naturally, just to assume that unless there's a reason why she just can't do it, wouldn't it be natural that the succession would go to his spouse?
Well, I mean, she even that was in the TPUSA, the Blake guy that was one of the things that he said that she had lied about that being Charlie Kirk's plan. And Candace Owens responded saying, "I never said that.
God,
that's a lie." and then, but it's like she very clearly was, more than skeptical about him writing notebooks and,
right.
She
Say,
was very,
you all believe it was a living will? Like, yeah, he could have had a
like,
living
He was
will.
meant to be like a boy genius. He hasn't, he hasn't left this in a will. I mean, I think she just seemed very, very upset that she wasn't able to verify that this was Charlie Kirk's plans. She was very upset that it was in notebooks that she couldn't see and that she wasn't a part of. This whole thing is a massive FOMO. That's entirely what Candace Owens is.
Yeah,
she just has FOMO that she's just on the outside circle because she's gone nuts, yeah. And so she's just upset that she's been kicked to the curb.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Candace, you could tell us why you left Turning Point in the first place, because unless, like it was said, you were forced to resign or, on the brink of being terminated, then wouldn't you still be there at Turning Point USA? Like, wouldn't she still be there if it was her choice? That's how I'm thinking about this. Because why would she leave only to sit here and be this obsessive about it? The moment something happens to Charlie Kirk, and now all of a sudden it's, I don't think Erica Kirk should have been put into the role right away. I think it should have been an interim and blah, blah, blah. And I was a Mason and I helped build it, even though she didn't. But why would you leave it then? Why leave the company? What was the reason? So that's something she doesn't, once again, anything that could merely come back on her and be remotely embarrassing, or taint her, she doesn't talk about it. But
yeah. Well, likewise, why can't you seemingly show any text from Charlie Kirk, after 2018?
Thank you.
That are within 7 years old.
Right. Or any level of communication or any interaction since the last day she went on that tour, which was 2024. So if they had any interaction after that, okay, wouldn't that be a good 12 months leading up to the day he was shot? So any interaction, a call, a text, a photo, you and his kids having play dates, anything to show that you two had some sort of functional relationship or friendship between the last date of her tour up until September 10th. She's shown nothing. And she wants people to believe that she's out here, fighting the good fight, while she's also sitting here saying things like this, knowing that it affects Erica Kirk. Because why make this dig at the king and the dethroning and all of that, knowing that the person sitting in the role is his wife? That's what bothers me.
I mean,
It's his
even
wife.
even I didn't include it in this short one, but she even goes on about how, it's the same as JFK. The only thing
Yeah,
that's
that-
missing is like a grassy knoll. And she goes on to say that Lyndon Johnson was a part of it.
Yep.
But yeah, you saying that just reminded me that, I mean, it's been so dark what she's done since the
Yeah.
assassination. But one of my favorite moments was when she was like, within 48 hours of Charlie Kirk's death, he informed TPUSA that he wanted me back in the fold.
Yes, the
then the text-
reunion.
And then the text came out, and it was really a threat from Charlie Kirk saying, like, you keep doing this, I'm going to bring Candace back.
This is the great reunion. Candace, why don't you tell
Like
us
an
all about
emergency
that?
break glass. I'll bring Candace out if you do this.
If you keep
I'm gonna go
bothering
nuclear. Yeah.
Candace, he's gonna use you as a pit bull. He's gonna sick you or something. That's not a good thing. Yeah, okay, Bulldog. I'm gonna go get the Bulldog. Y'all keep on messing with me. Can't make this up.
That later he was like, guys, of course I'm just joking. That's like
You can't. He said, yeah, y'all keep playing. I know who to go get. It's like, oh, great. Everyone to be mad. Just like now. It's like but then if that were to happen, she would have to say why she left in 2019. It's like, okay, why did she leave in the first place? First question most people would ask, why did she leave in the first place? Because if she would have stayed there, then who knows? Why did she leave is the question. If you have this great reunion to come back, Candace, why did you leave? You're gonna have to speak on that. That goes hand in hand, girl. At least I would know. I would make sure she would not be able to say that without having to answer that question. Why did you leave in the first place? Technically, you should still be there then, right? Got it. That's so simple to me. But all right, yeah, let's finish this up and then have a good giggle.
Nation of Charlie Kirk was something akin to a regicide, right? The assassination of a king to install a new ruler who the king would have never approved of.
It doesn't necessarily mean they weren't involved in plotting to kill him. And I've never said that.
The apparent plan was to assassinate Charlie Kirk, who had at long last faltered on the pro-Israel cause. Okay, his words, not mine. And then to stage a hostile takeover. And I've never said that.
When did he say that? Go back. When did he say that he faltered? When did he say he faltered?
In the group chat, remember? In that one cherry-picked group chat where
the text messages aren't even real.
Where it was a knee-jerk impulse in anger because the donor was pulling money. That was his final all-encompassing. That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite things.
You can't make this up.
That group chat was very clearly him responding impulsively and emotionally from a donor pulling a lot of money, a Jewish donor. So he was saying, I'm going to pull my support of Israel, and bring Candace back. And that's what everyone said. The people who were in that group chat responded saying, this was not how he felt. He's always been open about how he felt about Israel. He was clearly just emotional about what was going on with donors. And that's how he lashed out. I love Candace fans. And that whole side of things have then taken this of like this is what did he say? He said like this is why Jewish donors get the stereotype, something like that. He said that in the group chat, and they put that over him like he's Einstein with like a quote over like a photo of Charlie Kirk in like black and white.
You can't make this
like,
up.
something that he said in a speech and not in something that was just
it's like
a group chat with people that would never was meant to get out and has been contextualized by everyone there to say this is not how he felt about Israel. Of course.
Clearly. I mean, the fact that he took the time to send a letter where he's giving the Israeli prime minister tips on their PR strategy and how to, speak up for themselves more not rely on outside media to be their voice, but to have their own voice from the inside. Why would he even take time to even do all of that? That letter was 7 pages long. Why would he take the time to even type it up if he wasn't still pro-Israel? And yet, it's no different than I call them the candy ass cult members, where you say something they don't like or agree with, it's this full on attack. He had the right to criticize, so does everyone else. He didn't have to agree with everything that they did. Most people wouldn't. If they feel like some of the things they were doing was unnecessary, causing a loss of life, hurting and damaging to others. No one wants to see that anywhere on earth. But the fact that he said that and he felt like he was losing donors, of course he's going to say, listen, people going to be pulling out because I said something that they didn't like. This is ridiculous. But overall, it doesn't mean if I make a comment that, I had a bad piece of chicken, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop eating chicken. It just means that one piece of chicken was bad. It's like they don't understand it. Like, people have the right to their opinion.
Yeah, these Jewish donors weren't happy that he had Tucker Carlson speaking at events, and I mean that's totally understandable. And you know what? It's they can pull their money if they don't like it. That's totally fair, and it's also understandable why Charlie Kirk would feel like he's such a proponent of Israel that it's unfair that he's putting in this position where he's not able to platform people who are speaking out against Israel. That's also totally reasonable. But the guy was absolutely pro-Israel. Doesn't mean that he didn't have criticism.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean that him saying that he didn't think that AIPAC should be considered American lobby. The fact that he didn't like some of the speech laws that were being passed. I mean, just because you're criticizing things like that doesn't mean that you're anti-Israel.
Right.
He was always he was always pro-Israel. That had never changed. But Candace Owens, like we've said, the bar is so low for her producing any kind of evidence that when she finally does, and it's something like this, a cherry-picked receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
They go wild and they pump it everywhere with the network of people that they've got there to amplify her stuff. But yeah, no, I think any regular look, if I died and I had an emotional text message to my wife saying something, I would not want that to be my final statement on how I felt about whatever something was. I wouldn't even want it to get out in the first place. It only got out because Candace,
she got this insider leak.
Been put out.
She claims she's got insiders in Turning Point USA, which I find baffling considering the fact that she's demanding that they release a message about him being, unalive the day before, he was shot. And it's like, well, don't you have insiders? Can't they just give you that information? It's like you're demanding that they present evidence to you, but you claim you've got insiders. I mean, wouldn't a good journalist rely on their so-called insiders to give them this information? Like, why are you expecting them to prove your point? And that's, it goes back to, this is why you're bad at this, Candace, because you're bad at this. You don't put out the statement first and then get the evidence. You do your research, you get your documentation in place, and then when you're releasing the statements, you show why you're saying what you're saying. It's that simple. But like you said, the bar is low. My chat has been flowing, and I just want to remind, shout out to my mods. Coming in my chat does not mean you get to disrespect my mods. That's not how that works here in the Lady Luck Club. And they think free speech somehow says, oh, I can just say whatever I want to say. No, I don't owe Candace fealty or loyalty. No one does. And people are going to say whatever they want to say, their opinion of her. No one cares if she likes it or not. Period. No one cares if she likes the opinions that people are having of her. She's not God. She did not die on the cross for my sins. She's not Jesus. She has no power here in the Lady Luck Club. If her whole MO is based on her doxing people and harassing people, and the candy ass is going out and making threats in people's chats and all these things. There's no integrity or credibility to that. But no one owes her any fealty or loyalty. No one has to agree with everything she says or does. No one. She's a mere mortal, just like the rest of us. And Candace, just like the rest of us, you should be filing a formal complaint to the FBI. If you want to sit here and say they should be taking whatever you got to say seriously, the FBI should not be giving you preferential treatment because you would not want them to do that to someone else. You sending a text message to someone high-ranking you can't name, it's not filing a formal complaint. Go on the website and file a formal complaint, just like any other American that would say, I have someone targeting me. I need help. Can you all investigate? That's it. So I have to get the, candy asses in check sometimes. But that's how they do. They come in, they never leave. They come back and then they say, oh, we can say what we want. No, we get to disagree with Candace. That's it. I sleep peacefully at night. Bottom line. I have almost 30,000 supporters. I sleep peacefully at night. And I'm going to disagree with her if I don't agree with what she's saying or doing. If she doesn't produce evidence, I get to say it's a lie until she does it. I don't have to believe that she has the France out here trying to assassinate her. She won't even tell us who the French government employee is that called her. She won't give us any evidence on that. Post one transaction of this paper trail. She won't do any of that. No one is obligated to believe or trust anything that comes out of Candace Amber Owens Farmer's mouth. No one. No one owes her that. So we good journalists are going to continue our research and continue to debunk her and to put out facts against her every single time she lies, especially when she's saying things that are not true, that are hurtful and damaging, and she's being hypocritical from one statement to another. We're going to keep doing it and holding her accountable. The end. So I believe with evidence. How you going to be named Nazi? That's how they do. You can't make this stuff up. you can come in here named Nazi. I believe with evidence and documentation. I don't go on feelings because Candace, facts don't care about your feelings. Neither does the law. You're going to find that out, girl. Judge Rennie will have no problem teach you that. Shout out to you, MilkBar. Anything else you want to add? Any tea you want to drop? When is your next video going to hit? All these good things. Give us the phone.
Yeah, I'll put something out today soon. But no, I mean, I'm most active on Twitter, so you can find me there at the MilkBarTV. But otherwise, yeah, YouTube as well, MilkBarTV. Yeah, and no, I'm just really appreciative of you showing the videos and helping get them out there. And it's good just finding other people who are calling out Candace Owens, and it's nice not being the only one who can I know.
It's just, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming on. I am a huge fan, believe it or not. If your name is Notesy, it's not being made fun of, but don't come in here and expect me to believe and trust everything Candace Owens says. I don't owe her that. Child, please. But I appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us today. Sometimes you just got to candy asses to check. But I appreciate you hanging out and coming on. You're welcome anytime in the Lady Luck Club. Anytime to hang out with us.
We should do a live reaction. I'd be down for that. So
yes. When you want to do it. Let me know. I'm here. Listen, that's the only way I can do it. I have to watch with the Lucksters, or we could do a live reaction because I can't watch her stuff on my own. It is, Candace, you're infuriating, girl. So I'm down for that. And we will definitely, when we get that scheduled, trust me, we will have that posted up, and you guys can join in on the fun because I have a good time reacting to her videos with the Lucksters. Most of the stuff we laugh at. And then, every so often I have to debunk and look up a definition of a term, but we try to have a good time because if not, it's going to piss you off. I mean, make you mad if you don't laugh.
At this point, she's so evil. She's so evil.
I know.
And always like as dumb as ever. You have to laugh, really. I mean, that's, I think that's my thing. Her fans should be ashamed to say that they're fans of Candace Owens. You know,
No, they should be even more ashamed. Say that they're gonna come in and somebody's got to pay the price. Yeah, that happened to me. Yes, I can't believe it. I had to call this guy. I was like,
yeah, that's horrible.
what's gonna happen to me?
I
I want you to speak plain and tell me exactly what's gonna happen to me. Child, Candace is only as scary and as threatening as people make her to be. I think that's, the best way to put it. Is as much as she tries to go after someone's, image and their character, and defame and attack, she doesn't care if you're the first lady of a president. But she's only as scary, and she only goes after people she thinks are weak.
Yeah, I mean, she's come after me as well.
So
she's come after me. That's how. I mean, there's no better way to know how full of crap she is than by her coming after you, because you just realize how she just blatantly lies about it. Like she copyright striked me putting clips up from her book club, so she had them taken down. So she was very much like, I stand by everything I said publicly, and then privately had it taken down. And she came after me for posting that and said Nathan Livingston posted this, blah blah. And then a month later, I turned into Zionists, came after me and infiltrated her book club, and so there's nothing more than you being the one that she's attacking to know just how she'll just openly lie.
My headphones just went out on me, but so the book club thing, because I was going to ask about that. They claim you snuck into it and you went behind a paywall and blah blah blah. What was the scoop on that?
Yeah, well, people were telling me for so long, you've got to go into a book club. It's even more unhinged than a regular show. And so this was like right in the middle of the Charlie Kirk stuff. She took a break. And I jumped in, and immediately she started accusing Trump and all sorts of people. I mean, they were right. She was saying crazy stuff. So I clipped it because I was like, this is newsworthy. So I posted it with commentary saying this is what she's saying, blah blah. And I was right. It made the news. It went very viral, and she looked crazy because some of the stuff she was saying was nuts. She was saying she could stab Elon Musk and Peter Thiel because they're hybrid humans. And anyway, so she was like, I stand by everything I said, blah blah. But she issued me with copyright strikes. And
what happened with that? Was that taken down?
Yeah, it was taken. Yeah, I was locked out of my account. I had to give permission for them to be taken down.
What did they remove the copyright strike? I didn't even ask about that. Did they remove the copyright strike?
I don't know, but they took the posts, the videos are taken down, so they're still down.
Oh, they're still down. Okay, I got it. So they haven't allowed you to repost them. Got it. And then she did a copyright strike for claiming that you went behind a paywall with a video. That's not a copyright strike.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could legally say that you agreed to this when you signed up, and we own this material and blah blah blah.
Okay.
But I think that goes out the window if you're accusing the president of the United States of killing Charlie Kirk. I think you waive that line. I think that becomes newsworthy at that point in time.
I don't understand. It's like you would think Trump would have called her and be like, Candace, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you can't make this up. She claims that he called her and said, can you give the first lady of France a break?
Yes, she claims that. No evidence on that one either.
No evidence on the call, though. Candace, post up the call log, girl. Show us one proof that he called you. Just post the call log. It's good grief. But it gets behind a paywall and says all this stuff, and it's just like, let's say you didn't you didn't have the video, right? You can still go in, listen in, and then come out and say, this is what was said. And then either way, it's still, okay, are you saying these things? Because it's either going to prompt people to pay to get into that book club to see what she's talking about, or to do something similar. You go in and say, oh, you're blaming the precedent of this death. Oh, okay, let's just make this available and send this over to CIA or the Secret Service. Like it would have done either way.
That was the other thing is that
that would have happened either way.
After that, she was pretty much thanking me and bragging like, "Oh, we've had more people sign up for the book club."
Oh dear Lord!
So I mean, that's the thing is like she's really bad at this. You know?
Oh Lord, Candace, you're bad. At this
like, yeah, she's the defamation thing. People are like, "Oh, Candace is too smart. She's so many steps ahead of them." You know, it's like, no, she's really not.
No, God. Well, we all know that, you know, she's definitely collecting the money. She's not trying to donate any of it to Turning Point USA because Candace, last time I checked, you're not a donor either. So much for that. But you know, I just, like I said, I appreciate you for tuning in and for taking this invite. It has been an honor. The Lady Luck Club thanks you. And you guys make sure you go check out Nathan, aka MilkBarTV, on YouTube and on Twitter X. Make sure you subscribe and hit the like button on his videos because he deserves a lot more views. Candace, just like you think he gave you more, you know, money and people who signed up, you also sent more subs his way. You know, so there you go. It works hand in hand. So she sent a lot of subscribers your way and a lot of attention to your content as well. So make sure you guys go back next time and hit the subscribe button. You know you want to, even if you're a Candy Ass Cult member, hit the subscribe button because you know you're watching anyway. Thank you so much, Milk Bar, for tuning in. And I appreciate you. And I will be in touch with you so we can do a joint, you know, reaction to her videos together. It's going to be fun.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good one. Yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning in with me and Milk Bar. That was fantastic. I love it. Thank you all so much for rocking with me here in the LLC. And to the Candy Asses, you all know better. Y'all come over here trying to cut up and giving my mods a hard time. Don't do that. Don't come for my mods. I appreciate my mods because they do what they do, you know, out of volunteering their time. And I appreciate that. I you know, I mean, defend my mods. I do. Because I know they're not going to go out and parrot some nonsense on my behalf. They're not going to do it. So I'm not going to let anybody just come and attack my mods like that. And if they say be respectful in the chat, be respectful in the chat. Have great conversation. Leave your comments. Ask questions without all the nonsense and the fluff and thinking that somehow the First Amendment is going to cover everything because it doesn't. Your cult leader is going to find out the hard way sooner or later, Candace. You're going to find out, girl. Judge Rennie is not for play. As a matter of fact, let's look up the status of that case. See what's going on with it. Because, you know, Candace, why don't you just schedule a hearing? Now, we all have to sit here and wonder when is the first hearing. Just schedule the hearing. She filed the motion to dismiss. I don't know why she won't read that on her channel. She could. You know, that would be good material to read, Candace. You want content, read your motion to dismiss. You'll probably get more views with that than anything else. Can't make this up. So let's share this and see what is going on with this lawsuit here. Hold on a second. Because I like to present the facts, you know, because that's what we all need here. There you go. Oh, let's get it in. Shout out to my mods. I appreciate all of you all. Thank you all for being all hands on deck and for you know, keep things in check. I understand the Candy Asses can be tough and difficult, but we made it through. God, they know better. They know not to come up in here and cut up. No one's telling you all to stop being a cult member, but if you're gonna come up in here, at least put on your best behavior. You know better than that. Now I got to see him call people out. Why? See? All right, y'all. Look at this. Is the last activity here. Let me go to the top so people can see. This is the case. This is the case ID number, and is in Nancy 25. C as in Candace -07-194. Macron's v. Candace Owens. Candace, the judge is not playing with you. I don't know why your 3 attorneys won't remind you of that. And why you all just won't request a hearing on this motion to dismiss. So the last entry made was December 3rd. That was docketed on December 5th. This is an answering brief that was filed in response to the defendant's, Candace's, motion to dismiss with their motion to strike the first amended complaint. So with that motion, it should warrant a hearing, because you can have a request a hearing on that motion, which they need, because she's asking the court to dismiss the case, even though she says she doesn't want it dismissed, because subpoena power and blah, blah, blah. So here you have the opposing party. Whenever there's a motion filed, the opposing party gets to file a response or reply. So that's what the Macron's attorney did. They filed an answering brief that was docketed, plaintiff's opposition to defendant's motion to dismiss, with the certificate of service and as well as the notice. And then, of course, to be heard at the convenience of the court with a proposed order denying defendant's motion to dismiss. Because we're here for that. I don't even know how they think that this so-called, libel tourism claim is going to hold up when Candace herself is admitting that she have LLCs registered in Delaware. Good luck to that girl. You can't make this up. So, honestly, Candace is going to lose. You're going to lose. They're going to be able to meet their burden, which is a preponderance of the evidence, 51% convincing, plus having to meet that requisite of malice intent. They tried to tell you numerous of times that you're lying, to stop doing it. Here's some exhibits and evidence for you to correct the record. You failed to do that. And now they're bringing scientific evidence with them. What does she expect? Y'all, defamation. Defamation. It's not covered under the First Amendment. It's just not. It's just not. And when she files a lawsuit against someone, guess what? Candace has to meet the burden of malice intent as well, because she claims to be some level of a journalist of some sort. So you got to meet that burden too. And the last time she tried to sue USA Today, she couldn't do it. It's funny. It's like you claiming to be a member of the press trying to sue USA Today, which is a member of the press. And you learned nothing from that. And your 3 attorneys just going for gold. They're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. Yeah, let's see if this sticks. Your client is already said flat out that she has LLCs registered in Delaware. And said, their claim of defamation, if it was done in Tennessee. Can't make this up. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, boy. Beautiful says, y'all have the power to mute comments from anyone in this chat, but that's not what you're doing. You're deleting comments. They have the power to delete. Mamas have the power to delete comments. If it's just beyond, what's considered respectful at this point. Especially when, after yesterday, one of these Candace cult members sat here and said, I'm going to pay the price one way or the other, because Candace Owens won't get her people in check. I wouldn't want anyone in the LLC to go out and, in my defense, threaten someone or even say anything that would insinuate someone's going to pay the price for something. I would never, ever want any of you to ever do that. So after seeing a comment like that, if you're saying something that's raunchy and disrespectful, just like you think you have the right to say this, I have the right to not read it. You see that? That freedom of speech works both ways. What makes you all think that people have to read disrespectful comments? No. We have the right to not read the crap. So my mods have the ability to delete them, especially after yesterday, where someone is saying, I'm going to pay the price one way or the other because I don't agree with Candace Owens. Laughable to me, and couldn't explain to me exactly how I'm going to pay that price. You see, this is taking some level of accountability, Candace, something you have the inability to do. Get your cult members in line. At the very least, put it out there. If you're going to go out and make threats on people's lives, don't say you're supporting me or defending me. At least put that out there. So if someone does that and they say that they're doing this in defense of you, you can quickly say, I said not to do this. Because I don't agree with people just going out into other content creators' YouTube channels and their videos and saying, either way, you're going to pay the price one way or the other. You mean? At least put that out there and say, I do not advocate for anybody that supports me, that's subscribed to my channel, that's in my book club, none of that, to go out trying to defend me and then sit out here and put out veiled threats like this, saying that someone's going to pay the price one way or the other. Don't do that in my defense, because that's called accountability. So that, that would require for Candace to have a soul and a conscience. But I am at least saying that. And I know my Moss is not going to sit here and just go out and just threaten someone like that. So I don't have to read your BS based on the freedoms and protections I have. Just like you think you have the right to post it up. Hey, then that's how that goes. Freedom of speech and the rights and protections we all have, it works both ways. Candace is not the only American here in this country. You can't make this up. They're like the Constitution of the United States is only written for one person. Chabo. Bye, Felicia. It's ridiculous. No, man. All right, y'all. So let's get some more comments in. Welcome. Oh, wait. We got a new sub. We got a new sub up in here. How is Candace Owens the queen of the internet? A negative comment. Who said it was negative? I said I disagree. And why would you make her queen? Didn't she say that she doesn't support a monarchy? Explain that to me. It's the hypocrisy for me. How do you say, Candace, you said you don't believe in a monarchy, and yet you have your people posting comments like this, insinuating that somehow you're a part of a monarchy. Just like she says, I'm not doing this for views, clicks, or money and likes. But then they leave comments saying, oh, she's got 155,000 views. She's #1 podcaster based on views and clicks and likes. Money. Oh, she's rich. She makes X amount of dollars, but she's not doing this for money. They come in and they negate whatever you say, Candace. I understand you don't understand the definition of the word hypocrisy, lie, truth, facts, evidence. A soul, a brain, conscious. Those terms might be hard for you to digest, but your cult members are coming in and they're debunking whatever you're saying. You should be proud of this. So you don't believe in a monarchy, but your people seem to believe that you're the queen of something. In the United States of America, we don't support a monarchy. We just don't. Why are they saying this? It's the stupidity of it all. You can't make this up. Why are they saying this? We have to, sometimes the banter of the candy ass cult members is funny to me. Aside from someone saying, I'm going to pay a price, and they couldn't specifically spell that out and speak plain on that. This is hilarious. Candace, they're saying you have a monarchy mindset. What are y'all discussing in that book club again? You can't make this up. I don't even know what to say to that. I don't condone a monarchy. That's not what your people think. You can't make this up. This all get paid to do this. Yeah, because this is priceless. I'm curious how much you get paid to do this. I've never heard of Candace Owens lie one time. She has misspoke. That's a lie. Do you understand the definition of the word misspoke? You can't make this up. When you make a statement, you don't mean to say it because it's not true. But always corrects it. When? Has she ever posted the text message of the FBI? The text message she sent to the FBI saying, help, someone's after me in France. What about the transactions of those payments from Club de Sant? You know, those transactions she says going through this club that she never specified. Where is that evidence, that paper trail? She said, obviously it must exist. I'm relying on the good people of France to find it for me. No, Candace, that's called bad journalism because you're bad at this. You should have gotten that. So, Clayton, why don't you ask your cult leader to post that evidence up? Because otherwise, we are not obligated to believe it. I understand it's hard to compute what all I'm saying here, you know, because bots. But this is why people think you have bots, Candace. They copy and paste the same comment over and over again. They're not even using the common sense God gave a Billy Goat girl. Or that ram in the bush that you keep obsessing over at UVU. How's that Bush conspiracy theory working out? They can't even be original. All I ask at this point, can y'all be original? Come up with something more creative than this. You said 2 long questions of comments I've already heard. How much is someone paying me? YouTube pays 10 cents for every 1,000 views. I'll let you do the math on that. So based on how many views I have by the end of the 17th for this video, that's how much I'll get paid for it. 10 cents per 1,000 views. Then, you know, how about this? Why don't you just leave a super and I'll get paid that? You can't make this stuff up. Oh, buy my t-shirts, but she ends up being. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, God. No one's forcing them to, you know, dispute Candace Owens. No one was forcing the cult members to do that. If you guys want to worship the ground she walks on, at the very least, can you be creative in your comments? Can you do that? You can't make this up. Right on Gal says Candace is the queen of her own little narcissistic world. Queen of Kentiva cult. That's not right. You see, I don't have to agree with the candy ass cult members, but I'm not pushing them out when they say something that's not disrespectful. I'm not saying you are right on Gal. I'm saying this other one up here. You know, Clayton. See, I'm not. Did I delete this comment? To the candy ass cult members, did I delete this comment? Because it's still here. This comment is still here. This comment is still here. To the candy asses, it's still here. I didn't delete it because I didn't see. We don't see this as disrespectful. We just see this as laughable. Candace, we're laughing at you, not with you. Your cult members don't help at all. They're not helping at all. It's the lack of originality that makes me cringe. I know, right? They're not even trying. LL is a journalist and aside from Candace. What do you think about Xavier Poussard and his research on Brigitte? Well, the problem is that, you know, his research is not, first of all, it's not research. He didn't present much facts. And then at the end of the day, it comes down to, you know, what when you're talking about proving someone's gender, we're talking about human anatomy and science and biology. So the evidence you need has to be scientifically based. Just like, you know, anything else dealing with the human body. If they start with that, they probably wouldn't have, like, this Xavier Poussard wouldn't be able to say half the things he said if he would have started with scientific evidence. They didn't use any facial recognition analysis, no lab results or, you know, diagnostic results, an MRI, a CAT scan. You know, no reply. I said it the best the other day, where you don't even need blood work. You can just get, a pelvic x-ray, MRI of the pelvic area. Men and women have, our pelvic bones and stuff are structured differently, right? Women have to have it. God created us for us to be able to, give birth. So it's shaped differently from a man. That's anatomically based. That's proven with science. And all they will need to do is bring in some X-ray or MRI results from that. That's diagnostic test results. That's called scientific evidence. If he started with scientific evidence, half the stuff he said would not even be, it wouldn't exist because he wouldn't be able to debunk science. So I don't consider gossip stuff like that journalism. I just don't, because when I research, I'm looking up laws, definitions of terms, concepts, like, what is an endowment? I did a whole video debunking this, oh Lord, what's his name? Wolves in Finance and Candace. Because neither one of them took time to look up an endowment. He said in his video, oh, well, it's not illegal. Okay, why is a problem? Because that's exactly what an endowment is designed to do. He said it was unethical for them to take money and invest it in the stock market. But that's what an endowment is for. To make financial investments, to generate a return on investment, an ROI. So that revenue that you generate, this ROI, is what they then take and put back into Turning Point USA to help take care of expenses. That is how endowments work. There are various types of the endowments. Neither one of them put any facts into their videos. In her video or his video he did that she played, neither one of them took time to actually, let's look at what an endowment is and the various types of endowments that can exist. No, he went straight to, where's this $8 million? And they didn't file these tax documents on time. And never mind the IRS, extensions that can be granted. They didn't give any of that. No baseline information. And it's the same thing with Xavier Poussard. No baseline evidence and information that anyone can research. Because to me, it's the first step. If I'm going to sit here and debunk someone, when I did that video on the endowment, first thing I did was, what is an endowment? So that at least the basic information can be accurate. And when anyone researches endowments, you're going to get the same information I have. I even put resources in my description of my videos, the links to the websites, links to videos that I use. So you could go on these same websites, go on these same videos, and look up the same information that I looked up as a part of your research. That's how good journalism works. So when you're citing resources or your sources, it should be providing you with some baseline evidence and information that the general public can also read for themselves. Xavier Poussard didn't do that. He just went on a theory and some interview he did with a medium or a spiritualist or somebody. Like they're taking their so-called baseline foundation of whatever they're reporting on or talking about from sources that aren't credible. If Xavier Poussard would have done at least basic research on what evidence do you need to prove someone's born a man, or if they had a sex change, you would need medical records. What would you need baseline wise to establish whatever you're reporting on? That baseline information and research, they didn't do it. He took an interview with some spiritual medium mind reader. You can't make this up. So it's like, okay, that's where he got his baseline information from. An interview he did with a spiritual medium. Oh my God. So all of this is based on someone's like sitting in front of a crystal ball, basically. That's how I'm imagining it in my mind. But a spiritual medium, not a drop of evidence, not a drop of scientific evidence, not blood tests, not an MRI or CAT scan or an X-ray, nothing. You can't make this stuff up. Oh yeah. No, you're welcome, honey. Pretty and Pink. Shout out to you. But basically, that's what he did. He took that interview and he was like, "Yeah, let me run with this. This seems about right to me." BB owes me $700,000 at least. Oh man, how many times I tell you all this? Every time the candy asses come in here and they say, "How much you're being paid?" Will you tell the Israeli Prime Minister to hurry up and send me that check? Why 7,000? Why is that the limit? Why I can't get $144,000? At least every dollar for every member of the tribe of Judah. Like, can it not be significant? And the numbers mean something. A spiritual medium will just tell you what you want to hear. Exactly. For the right price. It's so many questions behind it. Xavier Poussard could have paid that lady just to say, on the record. Like, it's like, dude, where you get this person from? Why is it a medium here? You can't make this up. I'm still waiting on Benjamin Netanyahu to pay me that $7,000. Christmas is what, 15 days away? Come on, Benjamin Netanyahu. Can you speed this up? The candy asses believe that I'm owed $7,000. Why would I turn away that money? And yet, what's so funny? The candy ass cult members don't leave me a super at all. They don't give me any money either. They want me to get all this money from Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu. I guess he balling like that to pay everybody off on earth. But they don't ever leave a super. They won't even leave a like. Selfish. At least hit the like button, damn it. You can't make this up. If you're gonna accuse me of being paid $7,000 from Israel, hit the like button. It's ridiculous. Trump owes me now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Trump, because they claim Trump is working with Israel, and it's all a conspiracy. Oh yeah. Oh man. $7,000. That's very cheap. That should be per hour for me. Yeah, that sounds about right. $7,000 an hour. Yeah, that's more about right. So it's like 4 hours of a live stream. Yep. Benjamin Netanyahu, you owe me like $28,000, man. Right now we're at $21,000 with $7,000 an hour in 3 hours. Benjamin Netanyahu owes me $21,000. Why in the world are you all the candy ass cult members? Why y'all shortchanging me? Why y'all doing that? Why are you shortchanging me? Why does it have to be $7,000? Where did they get that number from? Wouldn't it be 7777.77, like all sevens or something significant? Or 7311.11? You can't make this out. Why is it that I only get $7,000? That's just not enough. He's trying to shortchange me and everything. Good Lord. Oh, God is good. All right, y'all. I tried my best, Candace. I tried my best until you start saying the U.S. military had something to do with this, and you couldn't name one branch of military or show an email or proof or anything. No reply, and I'm still waiting on the number episode of where Candace supposedly showed this email of someone from some military branch emailing Candace Owens saying, yeah, we're guilty. What? We're still waiting on what episode number that is, because they claim there's an email out there. We're waiting. Candace, we're waiting. See, Terry say, I'm Jewish, BB. Where's my 7? For sakes. Thank you, Yuck. Oh, he gifted 5 Lady Luck Club memberships. Oh my God, Yuck 2.0. Mama loves you. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate this. This is a blessing, you all. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. Man, this is what I said. Candace get hit with all these supers and stuff. We don't even factor that in when we're talking about how much money she's making. And somehow, the Lady Luck Club with almost at 30,000 supporters, somehow, Lord, I get a super and the world ends. Or I'm being paid $7,000 to disagree with Candace Owens. I don't even know how else that can be put. How dare I disagree with her? Child, please. Candace don't pay my bills. What are we thinking? Candace does not pay my rent. Now, if she would like to pay this month, she can, but she doesn't pay it. She don't have to take care of my kids. She don't have to buy food or clothes. She does nothing. She has no effect on my household. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I owe her nothing. This cult is crazy, y'all. I never thought I would actually live in an era where I would see a cult like this manifest in real life, where they think that somehow the First Amendment means that you got to read their weird ass comments that's rude and disrespectful. Oh, and threatening. Can't make this up. Let's give a shout out to the supers while we're at it. Thank you so much, Yuck. I'm just gonna give a shout out to the supers. All right. So yeah, Milk Bar is fantastic. Make sure you guys go check him out on X. Check him out on YouTube. Shout out to the cat lady. I hope your questions got answered. To Nathan regarding the technical method to his fantastic content. Pat Brooks, thank you for the $9.99 super. Lady Luck, I agree. Oh man, I'm here for it. Thank you so much, Pat Brooks. I appreciate it. This is a blessing as always. And Yuck 2.0 gifted 5 Lady Luck Club memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope you guys, whoever got these memberships, enjoy them. Enjoy them. I'm going to be posting up, and cutting down some of these live streams because some of you all are like, Lady Luck Club, you're killing me with these 3-hour and 4-hour long live streams, girl. Cut it down. So I'm going to be doing that. And then that's going to get posted up to the membership and cut it down like that. That way you guys can have that content to enjoy. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. IFV said truth is intro convertible. Panic may resent it. Ignorance may deride it. Malice may distort it. But in the end, there it is. Okay now. Oh. Shout out to you. The being the deep right there. Bringing in the deep. Candace, we still got to explain that photo of you holding that girl's butt. Well, y'all, check out my earlier live I did. Oh, shout out to both sides. That photo went viral, I heard. Candace, you grabbed some woman's butt. You're going to have to explain that. You can't make this up. Jesus Christ. Let me see. That video went viral. You can't make this up. Candace grabbing people's butts and stuff, and she don't expect somebody to ask a question. Candace, you said everything is fake and gay. Can't make this up. She said everything is fake and gay. Woo child. Yep, that's what she said. Candace, you said everything was fake and gay. Right here. You can't make this up.
Or Candyites and who follow Candy to the end.
This is so weird, Candace. This is so weird. I know when I'm just on a high right now from having Milk Bar in with us. This is so weird. Candace, this is so weird. You got your hands on this woman's ass like this, and you got a baby in the belly. Now anybody can pick that out of the lineup. I noticed she was pregnant first before the photo of her hand. Why is your hand down there? Girl, it would be funny if that girl farted. Candace, what if she would have farted and your hands is right there? She could pass gas at any given time. Boy, that would have been weird. She was like, oh, why did you do that? Candace, why is your hand right there? This is not God-like or Christ-like at all. No God in this photo. It's just, girls going wild, except one is pregnant. You can't make this up. You can just joke on this for days. You can't make this up. You putting all that pressure on the baby belly and her back. She want that's not sexy. I don't like that. The whole hand, y'all. If she would have, oh child, she would have passed gas. That would have been the end of it. This is crazy. Oh my dear Lord. Y'all. Candace, you actually took this photo talking about Christ is king. He is king. That's why you're not queen. You understand? To the candy asses. Hear me, as I declare. Christ is king, and he never made Candace Owens queen. Do you understand why it's weird for you to say she's a queen of anything? You can make this up. I say I'm the queen of this. But I don't sit here and put my hand on women's butts. I'm not doing that. That's gross. Oh, man. Candace can be the queen over there in her territory. All right. Let me put it like that. Candace, you're the queen in your territory. But when your candy ass cult members start roaming over here into my territory, where I'm the queen of this, I have a problem with that when they sit here talking about I'm paying the price one way or the other. And here are photos you're taking for fun with a baby in your belly. Was this pregnancy number 1, 2, or 3, or 4? Which baby are we on here? Girl, bye, Felicia. Why are you taking photos like this? This is so weird. Who's the young lady here? If you need help, wave a white flag and let us know you. Let us know if you need help. We'll come and rescue you, girl. I have this photo. You can't make this up. How you play capture child? You can't make this up. Scientology was the only real code I have seen. Oh my God. Y'all, we've done a couple videos about Scientology. I reacted to Tommy G, who actually did a piece on that, a story on Scientology. We got to dive into that a little bit more because it's something else. This is like the first. Let me say this. This Candace Owens cult, the candy asses. It's like the first cult of personality where I've been, I guess, able to, experience it. I not that I like it, but just I've been forced to experience this stuff. Like I don't have to deal with science. Like I don't, even talking about Scientology, they aren't that bad. Boy, I don't recall comments just flooding in the live stream when I was reacting to Tommy G's video he did on Scientology. I don't even recall comments like that where someone came in and said, you got to pay the one way or the other. What do you mean? Wait, what? It's just, I'm just flabbergasted. Then I told him to make it plain and he ain't say nothing. You can't make this up. Ghostface, I know, right, man? He said, blink 3 times if you need help. I know, right? Oh, who is this young lady? Listen, if you want to ever tell your story, the Lady Luck Club is here. Just email me, girl. You can't make this up. Candace and the cult, the cults, they may not want you to talk about this photo, but if you feel like you just need to get it off your chest, you can email me and we'll let you have at it. And you can discuss exactly how you felt in this photo, because this is Candace, this is not cute. You're pregnant. You're pregnant, for goodness sake. And then watch her excuse me. Well, this is what girls do. No, it's not. And you're 36 with 4 kids and a whole husband. Okay? This is not what girls do. This is not what women do. This, in your world where you say everything is fake and gay, maybe, but not in the real world where Christ is king. And you got people saying you're queen. You can't make this up. All right, y'all, I'm done. I'm just so, George got this accusation out here that she refuses to address. Boys Club, you're gonna have to say something. You got a grown man, alleging that you tried to essay him. And then you're silent about it. And he talking about it was no romance for 18 days. And I just proposed over, video chat. Like, you're proud of that? I know. What is George going to tell her? Make me a sandwich. Just make me a sandwich. I'm putting the camera down. You're going to make me a sandwich. And I'm going to go smoke a cigar with a glass of cognac. Like, when is that going to happen? We need that conversation to occur. George, every day you sit here and stand behind that camera and let her, stay on or off the pre-recorded show she does. Is each day you are complacent and complicit in this. You're complicit in this. I don't know why he's not named as a co-defendant, as an individual co-defendant. George Farmer, aka Boys Club. All right, y'all. God bless your heart and all your parts. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Can you say laugh it up? Thought you could. I appreciate you all. Hit the like button. We'll be back at it tomorrow. This was fun. You guys go ahead and get you a good night's rest. I know I have to get up in the morning. Child, he's scared of her. I know. He said he don't know what personality he's going to get day by day. But I want you all to have a good night. Candace, this photo is weird. It's disgusting. And this girl looks like she's trying to cry for help. And she couldn't get it out all the way. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to MilkBarTV. Shout out to all the fantastic content creators. Berean Babes, I saw you in here, girl, earlier. So you guys make sure you check her out as well. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Good night. Love you guys as well.